Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're back in Wisconsin. We were recently in Wisconsin for a case which was actually a trial, which was the Matthew Paul trial. If you missed the whole trial and you just want a case recap, I made a video for you, and there's also the interview with the K9 handler, right? Now today we're back in Wisconsin. In this case, my goodness, how horrific is it? I'm gonna say the spoiler is, which is a good one, it's good news, the victim survived in this case, but barely. A 14-year-old girl who weighed 35 pounds when the police found her. And that in kilograms is 15.8 kilograms. So call it 16 kilograms. Okay? So I've got a tiny little presentation here for you because we've got a huge document to get through today, but I do want to give you a visual okay, and an overview of what we're going to be diving into before we get started. Welcome everyone. Please like and share so that others know that we are live right now and they can join us. Calm Sunshine, thank you for being a member for 8 months. You said thanks all. This is the best community. Thank you so much. Welcome to all my moderators as well, patrons, members, subscribers, any locals in chat as well. So here we have 4 individuals, as you can see. And yeah, they starved a girl. The guy, Walter Goodman, is the victim's biological father, 47 years old. And he has a wife, Melissa Goodman, 50 years old. Now, this wife has her own daughter, Savanna. So it would be Walter's stepdaughter, right? Savanna Lefever, 29. And then Savanna has a partner, a female partner, and that's Kayla Stemler, 27. Now, just before this live stream started, Lisa J said, I'm overweight, and it would not bother me one bit if people said the obvious about these people. Right? We never want to fat shame. I think there's a little fine print there, like, damn, unless you starved a child, like, what were you thinking? You didn't miss a meal, but you're starving a little girl. Are you crazy? 4 of you together are doing this, allegedly. Why? What the heck is going on here? Half round, thank you so much for your $3 sticker. So yeah, this is who we're dealing with. When I read the document, I'll put this picture up as well, just so that you can follow along of who's who. It's a 41-page probable cause affidavit that we're going to be getting into. Now, tell me, locals, I've been trying to practice this word, okay? Outagami? Outagami. Outagami. I've heard different accents with it as well. Outagami County, Wisconsin, this case involves the severe neglect and starvation of a 14-year-old girl by 4 adults living in the same household, described by authorities as a house of horrors. The girl survived after being discovered in critical condition in August of 2025, weighing just 35 pounds and appearing the size of a 6 to 8-year-old child and requiring immediate hospitalization. The girl had been living with her biological father since 2020, so remember that, but had not attended school or seen a doctor during that time. So she was being, I'm going to say it like this again, because there's real homeschooling and then there's homeschooling, like we see in these abuse cases, where they're like, oh, they're being homeschooled. But they're not, you know what I mean? A little bit and they're not. Okay, so, in 2020, we're looking at the COVID time. Much easier to hide what was going on in this house at that time, right? With all the lockdown and all that. So she was reportedly locked in a room with only a mattress on the floor and required permission from the adults to eat or use the bathroom. In August of 2025, her father actually called 911, thank goodness, because the doctor said she was on death's doorstep, like she was going to die within days. So her father called 911, reporting that, she wasn't eating much and had been vomiting and was lethargic and had become unresponsive. I'm sure the defense team will say, see, they called 911, they were trying to help. Okay. First responders arrived to find her in dire condition, and she was airlifted to the Children's Wisconsin Hospital in Wauwatosa, where doctors diagnosed severe malnourishment and initially feared organ failure. After receiving proper nutrition and care, she recovered to function within normal parameters for her age, which that is amazing to hear. So they say she's in an undisclosed location, no longer in the hospital at the present time. Now here's some more pictures of the people. The 4 people that were arrested. Okay. And so you starved a child. Okay. All 4 are each charged with 5 counts of chronic child neglect, failing to provide necessary care, food, medical attention, clothing, and education. Outagamie County Assistant District Attorney Julie DeQuain described it as the most egregious case of child neglect in a 25-year career. If each of them, if they are convicted on all counts, because there's 5 counts of chronic child neglect, they could each face up to 25 years in prison and a $100,000 fine per count, for a theoretical maximum of 125 years in prison and $500,000 in fines if the sentences run consecutively. Of course, if they run concurrently, if convicted, okay, up to 25 years. Actual sentences would depend on judicial discretion, plea deals, and factors like prior records. My word. So, yeah, but I'm glad that they rescued the victim, whose initials are in the PCA, by the way. They're not naming her because she's a minor. Now, Walter Goodman and Kayla Stemler's preliminary hearings are scheduled for November 19th of 2025. So that's still coming up. Today is November 16th of 2025. And Savanna Lefever's and Melissa Goodman's is set for November 20th. So that's the next day. Melissa apparently had another child in the home, a son. He is 16 years old. And it's also his initials in the PCA that we're going to read. And she's prohibited from seeing him. So that's an extra condition for her. And they each have a cash bond of $150,000. So yeah, again, we're going to be looking at this. I just quickly would like to show you one video clip here. Hold on one second.
It's in this trailer investigators say a 14-year-old girl weighing just 35 pounds lived locked in a room, her mattress on the floor, needing permission to eat and go to the bathroom.
And it's alleged that the minor child was, quite frankly, living in a house of horrors.
The 4 adults living with her, the girl's father, Walter Goodman, his wife, Melissa Goodman, his stepdaughter, Savanna Lefever, and Lefever's partner, Kayla Stemler, now all facing 5 counts of chronic child neglect.
This is the most egregious case of child neglect I think I have ever personally seen in my nearly 25-year career.
The investigation first started in August when the teen's father called 911.
14-year-old child who does not eat much, has been sick and vomiting and is lethargic, now unresponsive.
The 41-page criminal complaint says first responders arrived claiming the teen, quote, looked to be the size of a 6 to 8-year-old.
We're going to read through the whole thing today, okay? So buckle up.
She was very, very close to death.
A helicopter brought her here to Children's Wisconsin in Wauwatosa. Doctors, initially concerned with organ failure, diagnosed her with severe malnourishment. According to investigators, the teen had lived with her dad since 2020, never going to the doctor or school. The complaint alleges she was mistreated by all the adults in the home and states Melissa Goodman and Lefever, quote, were extremely obese to the point of being nearly bedbound and rarely left the residence. Stemler was the only one to work. Goodman claimed his daughter had an eating disorder, saying, quote, she don't eat, she's autistic. But months of messages among the 3 women in the house displayed a much different reality. They referred to the girl as, quote, dummy or stupid, discussing her eating schedule. Lefever saying once, quote, we gave her an expletive shake last night because I felt bad, and of course she was laying nice and quiet to get what she wanted. Melissa Goodman responded, quote, yes, she's a manipulative. That's how she works.
But for the grace of God, she did not die.
At Children's, with normal food and normal sleep, doctors said she functions largely within expected parameters for her age. In Wisconsin, Hannah Hilliard, WISN 12 News.
So, are you ready for the probable cause affidavit? Because I hope you are. It's pretty horrifying. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Firstly, thank you so much to Grizzly Cat for sending me this probable cause affidavit. If you want to buy her coffee link is in the description box, and so is my coffee link and the Mod Squad's coffee link as well. Thank you, Grizzly Cat. So Yeah, 41 pages. It's a lot, and hope you're ready for it. Lala Sal, thank you so much. You said, thanks, Grizzly and Mods, greatest channel ever. Thank you so much. An earlier book bomber said, thanks for making the distinction between homeschooling and using it as an excuse to abuse, right? Yeah, some people are just using the word homeschooling as an excuse to abuse children, right? That's what we've seen so many cases like this, especially recently. My goodness, it's terrible. Okay, state of Wisconsin. Now we're looking at the one for Walter S. Goodman III, who's the biological father of the victim. Let me just quickly find, where did I put this picture now? I have an image for you. Is it this one? Yeah. I'm going to put this here so that you could just see who's who, right? It will help because I've read through this PCA a few times and I'm just like, wait, what? Who's who again? And what? And I refer to the pictures too, just to make sure, okay? Bonjour Vusto said she survived. I know, right? It's a survival story. Thank goodness. 35 pounds, 16 kilograms. That is so horrific. My goodness. Thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. Okay, so here are the first few pages. They're just going to go through the counts. Chronic neglect of a child. Consequence is great bodily harm. PTAC as party to a crime. So they say between August 1st of 2021 and on or about August 21st of 2025. So that's the time frame that they have put in this probable cause affidavit. Obviously, each one has a PCA, and they are all phrased the same way. Okay, so there's count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, right? There's 5 counts that we just went over on. That's why I did the little quick presentation for you, so you get the overview of what that's all about and how many years they could face if they are, of course, convicted. So let's get to the probable cause, right? Are you ready? And praise said defendant be dealt with according to the law, and that the basis for the complainant's charge of such offense is as follows. So this is again just about the sworn law enforcement officer and who all they spoke to and how they drew up this PCA. So we want to get to the details, right? Law enforcement began investigating chronic neglect when it was learned that on August 21st of 2025, that 14-year-old MJG, the victim, right, referred to by her initials, was gravely ill and weighed only 35 pounds. Background. On August 21st of 2025, 14-year-old MJG, date of birth redacted, lived with her father, Walter. His middle name is Sam Goodman. This is all public record. I'm not sharing anything that I'm not supposed to be sharing. That's a YouTube disclaimer. So anything that is supposed to be redacted has been redacted. Okay, thank you, Brenda, for being a member for 28 months. You said every one of these monsters are guilty and should be locked up for a long time. Innocent till proven guilty, but in the court of public opinion, yeah, we're looking at you, right? Look at these people. So she lived with her father, her stepmother, Melissa, Missy Goodman, her adult stepsister, Melissa's daughter, Savanna Lefever, Savanna's partner, that says Kalia, but I think it's Kayla Stemler, and her 15-year-old stepbrother, Melissa's son, and 2 dogs, Lily and Sassy, in a trailer located in the town of Outagamie County, Wisconsin. MJG began living with her father, Walter, Melissa, Savanna, and NM is the 15-year-old brother, in the spring of 2020. Since moving in with her father in the spring of 2020, MJG has not had any contact with her mother, AF. Immediately, I wasn't just saying AF, that's the initials of the mother, okay? Immediately prior moving in with Walter in 2020, the victim was staying along with some of her siblings with her maternal grandmother, Joanne, at a neighboring residence located at redacted. MJG first met Melissa, that's her stepmother, in April of 2019. And at that point, MJG had not seen Walter since she was very little. After MJG moved into the residence in the spring of 2020, Savanna's partner, Kayla Stemler, moved into the residence in August of 2021. Prior to MJG moving into the residence, Walter and Melissa shared one bedroom. Savanna had her own bedroom and NM had his own bedroom. When MJG moved in, she originally shared NM's room with him. The room had bunk beds at the time, with MJG sleeping on the top bunk and NM sleeping on the bottom bunk. Eventually, NM moved out of the shared bedroom and began sleeping on the couch in the living room. When Kayla moved in August of 2021, the little stepbrother, 15 years old, and the victim, 14 years old, were no longer sharing a room. Once Kayla moved in, Kayla shared a room with Savanna. As of August of 2025, Walter had been diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver and was on the transplant list. My goodness. Melissa and Savanna were extremely obese to the point of being nearly bedbound and rarely left the residence. NM, the teen brother, stepbrother, right? Half brother, wait. Not even related at all. NM, the 15-year-old boy in the house, right? That's Melissa's son, was in cancer remission, and Kayla was the only one who worked outside the home. Damn. Okay. When both Walter and Melissa would leave the house at the same time, including but not limited to when NM was having treatment at Children's Wisconsin in Milwaukee, Savanna and Kayla would be left responsible for MJG's care at the residence. As of August of 2025, neither NM or MJG had attended in-person school since school originally went virtual due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Prior to COVID, when MJG lived with her mother and or grandmother Joanne, she attended 3rd grade in person at Oneida. MJG then finished her 2019 and 2020 school year virtually in Oneida. While living with Walter, MJG attended 4th grade in Seymour virtually. So the last time she was actually in person in school was 2019 to 2020, that school year. And then she attended 4th grade in Seymour virtually for the 2020-2021 school year. And then was reportedly homeschooled from 2021 to 22 for the school year through the 2024-25 school year. 911 call on August 21st of 2025. On August 21st of 2025 at 5:28 p.m., Walter Goodman, who should be Walter Badman now, right, called 911 reporting in part following, not verbatim or an official transcript. So when it says WG, it's Walter Goodman, the biological father of the victim, right? He said, I have a 14-year-old daughter that she don't barely eat, so she looks really skinny. And she's also autistic. So if she don't want to eat, she don't eat. So the last 4 days, 4 or 5 days, she's been sick, throwing up, and I've been giving her the liquid IVs and all that kind of stuff. Today, she's real lethargic and was throwing her arm up, laying on her bed, throwing her arm up, and now she's just like laying there, like she's comatose. But her eyes are open and she's moaning and throwing her arms around. Okay? He said, tell them that I have her sitting on my lap in the living room. My porch is broke, so I'll grab her and bring her out. She's not much. See, and the problem is I have end-stage liver disease. 911 said, can they get into the house in a different way if you are incapable of carrying her out? He said, no, I can carry her. Like I said, she don't eat. You see, he almost said like, she's only, 35 pounds. Like, oh my goodness. Zelzabez said, Oneida, pronounced Oneida. Oneida. Did I say that right? Oneida? Oneida. Hope so. Thank you so much. If you are local, let me know. I always want to say it right like the locals do, right? Okay, so 911 said, okay. And then he said, and you try to feed her, and she's only like, and they said, you said your daughter's 14? Yes. Is she conscious right now? Yeah, she is. And she's breathing? Yes, but she's like, her mom is diabetic, so I don't know if she is. I haven't had her tested yet. 911 said, okay, do you think she's breathing normally? He said, no, she's breathing real on and off. What do you mean she's breathing on and off? Does she stop breathing? He says, no, her stomach goes down, then it goes rapid, then it kind of goes, you know what I mean? They said, okay, is she bleeding or vomiting any blood? No. Do you know if she has any pain? I don't know. She won't even talk. She's just laying there with her eyes open, all creepy. Oh my goodness. I'll try not to pause too much because really this document's long. It'll probably take over 2 hours to read, okay? But like what? Yeah, and they've got to stop and snark, right? Just like, you're her dad, right? And you're just like, I don't know, man. She's just lying there all creepy. Really? You said that? 911 said, is she verbal normally? He said, yeah, she's verbal normally. Okay. Do you have any pets outside? Yeah, I have 2 dogs. Are they locked up? Yeah, they're in a kennel. Can you keep me on the phone while you take her outside? Yes, I can. if you need to put on the phone in your pocket, I just want to stay on the phone with you in case anything changes with her. He says, I'll put it in my pocket and I'll grab it once I get sitting down out there. All right, hold on. 911 said, okay. I put you on speakerphone. They said, okay, that's fine. All her clothes are like huge and hanging on her. Okay, are you home alone with her, Walter? No, but my wife is handicapped and older daughter's handicapped. WG said, she's still making noises. 911, are you outside? I'm going out right now. How is she doing? She's just moaning. All right, is she conscious right now? She's grinding her teeth. Okay, I put a pull-up on her. Does she normally wear a pull-up? No, I changed her clothes because she was wet, you know. She peed herself or whatever. And now she feels like she's peeing on me. Oh my goodness, this guy. Wow, okay, so WG. She tensed up when I said her name. She did what? She kind of like tensed up, like inaudible. 911, they are coming as fast as they can. She's breathing, correct? Correct. My mouth is so dry. 911 says, how long has she been sick? He says, like the last 5 days, 6 days. Meanwhile, it's years, you guys, it's years. We'll see later that the doctor said that she had been starved. She had suffered from malnutrition, severe neglect and malnutrition for years. Not just 5 days. Oh my goodness. Southern Cali B says, oh my word, his calmness says it all. I would be panicking. I know, right? Wow. Okay. So, like the last 6 days, they say, okay. He says, I thought it was just a cold because she was puking, you know? So I'm like, okay. And she does a lot of self-harm too. So her legs look horrible. Okay. I think I need to put this trigger warning up at this point. Actually, hold on one second, because it could be very distressing content for all sorts of reasons. They discuss, he's going to blame the victim, saying that she self-harms. You know, there's a lot of, this obviously involves themes of child abuse, child neglect, which is a severe form of abuse, malnutrition, starvation, and then all the other things he's about to say, okay? So trigger warning, you've been warned, you know what you're signing up for. All right, so to continue reading this, the 911 operator says, how does she self-harm? And he said, if she has a mosquito bite or something, she picks until they're big, open welts. Now, the victim herself told doctors that she would pick her legs and her skin out of sheer boredom because she was locked in a room. It reminds me a bit of the Waterbury captive case. Remember that one? We're still following that one. Because she was locked in a room. We're going to hear more details of that. So like, okay, so she was completely bored, completely isolated, monitored with a camera by these 4 people and starved. Okay, so he's saying if she has a mosquito bite or something, and then he said hits herself in the head. 911, okay, when's the last time she ate? He says, this morning. Okay, then she threw it up. When's the last time she ate where she could keep it down? He says, probably like 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. She did good. I thought today was the end of it because she didn't do anything until like, she didn't puke it up until like 3. You say she's kind of underweight because she doesn't eat much. He says, yeah, she's underweight because she just don't eat. They say, okay. He says, like bony type, like you try to get her to eat and she, and she'll throw the food. Now this, according to what we'll read later, is a lie. He controlled the food. He swore at her, his own daughter, and all of that. So, no. But again, full-blown victim blaming that we can see here, right? Okay, so the 911 operator says, okay, and that's redacted, says, so scary. 911 says, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. MJG, she's like tightening up in my arms. And they say, is that normal for her? He says, no, like kind of straightening, like stiff as a board. And then she goes back to being normal. Not normal, but you know what I mean. They say, is she awake right now? Her eyes are the same way as I told you. Okay. Open, but not. I shined the flashlight. Her pupils are moving, but she's just not there. All right, they're almost there. Coming up highway right now. I don't know how far behind the ambulance is. An officer should be pulling up in a minute or 2. Okay. Frickin' shaking like crazy, he says. 911 dispatch says, she's shaking or you are? He says, I am. Okay. Okay, and your wife and other daughters, your daughter's sick? He says, no, no one's sick in the house. Okay. He says, my wife has kidney disease and my oldest daughter, she's overweight. Bad. And she's got lung issues. Okay. Let me know when you see the officer. WG says, the officer's here. That's Walter Goodman, right? The dad. And Anonymous says, all right, I'll let you go. Okay. First responders, August 21st of 2025. Officer Smith was the first to arrive and observed Walter carrying MJG down the driveway. While on scene, Officer Smith observed that the victim appeared severely underweight and malnourished, and that her collarbone, rib cage, hip, and cheekbones were very prominent, and that she looked to be the size of a 6 to 8-year-old child. Walter told Officer Smith that he recently got custody of MJG and that she doesn't like to eat. 5 years ago, dude, 5 years ago. It's like, yeah, recently got custody. She doesn't want to eat. Okay. Walter reported that she had last been to a doctor approximately a year and a half ago and that he stopped care due to the doctor being weird. Oh, really? She hadn't been to a doctor in the 5 years, hadn't been given education, hadn't seen friends, hadn't played outside in years. But he says he stopped taking her to the doctor because, the doctor was being weird. Walter confirmed that no medical services came to the house for MJG and indicated that he does try to get her to eat and gives her Ensure drinks. Those are like those nutrition shakes, right? But she usually refuses to eat. While on scene, Walter told Officer Smith that when MJG lived with her mom, she was abused and given sleeping pills. MJG was transported to St. Vincent Hospital in Green Bay. Walter rode in the ambulance due to his vehicles having flat tires. Am I allowed to snark and say, I guess we know why? The tires were flat, hey? How many of you were loaded in it and where were you going? We were going to Walmart? Probably, right? Probably going to Walmart. Oh man, okay. Officer Cletus Ninham arrived shortly after Officer Smith. Sorry, don't make myself laugh. Stop it. Okay, so I'm not looking at the chat too much. You guys are gonna... you could break my focus. All right, thank you so much for being here and listening to this case. I am so glad that the victim survived this and that she's doing okay according to the reports now, right, going forward. Sure. I hope they keep these four away from her and any other kids forever. Okay, so Officer Cletus Ninham arrived shortly after Officer Smith, at which time Officer Smith was assisting the first responders. Walter reported to Officer Ninham that MJG had been sick for the last 6 days and it was just throwing up. And then they had the audacity to say, normal kid stuff. Oh, normal kid stuff. None of that. And that she lost weight like crazy. Oh, and were you all jealous of her or what? While on scene, Officer Ninham asked Walter where MJG's mother was. And Walter replied, she's a whore. Okay, Walter. While Officer Ninham was speaking with Walter, Officer Ninham overheard a first responder ask Officer Smith to add the following to the medical sheet. Sugar, glucose level 24, and temperature 100.6 degrees. When Walter heard the sugar glucose level of 24, he said, holy, and it's redacted. They redacted a couple of cuss words, and I don't like that. They being the court, okay? I don't like that. I think he said, holy shit. We would like to say a few curse words here and there, okay? Especially in cases like this. Don't take that from us. Denise Go Blue said parts of Outagamie County are part of a large reservation in Wisconsin. I do not know if this particular area is part of the reservation. So sad. Interesting. Thank you so much for your sticker. And yes, again, welcome to all the locals. Thank you for sharing that information. Let me quickly see if I missed something. Let's see. Somebody in chat, I think, that I missed. Maybe you know these people? Do you know them? If you ever want to contact me, if you're watching, you're lurking, and you want to either correct some information or add some context or anything like that, you can email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. And I keep all my sources anonymous. So if you just want to share context, whatever, I won't be like, all right, let's go live with your email. Don't worry. It might just help to understand a little bit more, but what is going on here? Okay, is this picture big enough for you guys? I hope so. I hope you can see these people, right? And who's who? The stepmother. This is like Cinderella, but like terrible, like horror story. Stepmother from hell. Step monster. The father. Step sister. And then the step sister's girlfriend. Okay. So, Officer Ninham asked Walter if MJG was on any medications. He said, no, she's not on any. Officer Ninham asked Walter, she's been like this how long? Walter responded saying, probably like the last hour. I thought, well, you know, maybe that's what it is. Her sugar's low, so I gave her a little bit of wild cherry Pepsi, and she swallowed it down. A first responder asked Walter if MJG had a history of diabetes, and Walter said her mom does. It runs in her mom's side. Walter continued saying, so I figured, you know, well, I'll try that, you know, see if that's what it is. Then she started doing like this with her eye. Walter further advised, and she don't eat. She's autistic, like I said. It's horrible, man. I can't. Okay. It sounds to me, you know, like, it sounds like he has a lot of resentment for the biological mother, and he took it all out on this little girl, which is his daughter. But you know, we've seen cases like that before. Adam Montgomery comes to mind. Okay, so Walter further indicated to Officer Ninham that he put a bucket in MJG's room because she was throwing up, and advised that he has a camera in MJG's room due to, you know, her history of self-harm. Oh, so not your history of abusing her and shouting at her through the speaker system and camera that's on her at all times. No, you're going to blame her for that camera that you put up in her room and the doors that you locked her behind and all that, right? Okay. Again, the innocent are proven guilty in a court of law. Just here and there, I'm going to share my opinion as well of what I think is going on here. Laura, welcome. So, St. Vincent Hospital, Green Bay Police Department. On 8/21/2025 at approximately 10:52 p.m., Officer Hilbermans of the Green Bay Police Department was dispatched to St. Vincent Hospital in Green Bay for a child neglect call. Upon arrival, he met with redacted, that's registered nurse Berry, stating that she was working as a nurse at the hospital and was in charge of the care of MJG, who'd been transported by ambulance from her home, and that MJG was being transported by helicopter from St. Vincent's to the Children's Hospital in Milwaukee, and that she was intubated. Nurse Berry reported to Officer Hilvermans that MJG weighed 35 pounds. MJG also had a very large bruise on the right side of her forehead, had a blood sugar of 24, was also hypothermic, and had pressure sores, and there was no medical records for the last 5 years for MJG. Initial investigation. On Friday, August 22nd of 2025, Investigator A. Wolfel was advised of a child neglect case. Outagamie County Child Protective Services worker Brock Blum, Oneida Indian Child Welfare worker, all these names, right? Wait, there's a lot of names here. Just, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying to read it out would be quite exhausting. You can see it there. Pause to read if you want. There's all these initial investigations and everybody else who was involved, right? So August 22nd of 2025, contact with Walter at the Children's Wisconsin Hospital. While at Children's Wisconsin, Brock, Yesenia, Sergeant King, and Investigator Wolfel spoke with Walter. That's again the biological father. Brock asked Walter to tell them about MJG, and Walter said that MJG was 14 years old and autistic with a mentality of 4 to 6 years old. Okay. Walter said MJG, but not diagnosed. Okay, this is just him saying things. Allegedly. Walter said MJG was always the healthy one because she was never sick. That he got sole custody of MJG on May 1st of 2020. MJG's mother went to jail, and a CPS worker approached him about taking her, and he said, well, she's my daughter. Well, she's my daughter. Yeah, of course I'll take her. Walter said he was not aware of the issues that MJG had and said that he had found knives underneath her pillow due to being afraid of stuff that her mother did to her. Walter said MJG told him that her mother would give her sleeping pills. Walter said the little girl don't sleep. Walter said MJG would sleep for an hour and then stay awake for 1 to 3 weeks at a time. Okay, Walter said he had to put a camera in her room because she self-harms. Walter said MJG picks at herself and describes her legs as horrible because of it. Walter said that the victim will not eat if she doesn't want to, but that he will give her Pediasure when she doesn't want to eat. Walter indicated that he and Melissa would take turns sleeping in. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say sleeping in, but sleeping in order. I can imagine them sleeping in quite a lot. Janine Sage said, caught you live. Yes, none of these monsters missed any meals. Point of view, my 16-month granddaughter weighs 29 pounds. Oh, my word. 16 months. Shame. And this little girl in this case was 14 years old. You said so tragic. Prayers for her. Thanks for being a member for 18 months. Okay. Just so that you guys know, the reason I'm not like paying that much attention to the chat, even though I'm glancing, okay, is because this document is incredibly long. You won't believe it, okay? So I got to keep going. Otherwise, we will literally be here for a full trial day just to get through the document. There's a lot of information in here, and I love documents. You guys know that. I love all these legal documents, police reports and everything. And this one, this probable cause affidavit, is very detailed and very extensive. So I definitely wanted to bring this to you live and share it with you. And tell you about this case, but just so you know, why I'm not like looking at your chat the whole time, okay? I look forward to reading your comments though, after the live stream as well, and I will look at the live chat replay later. So, Walter said that MJG will not eat if she doesn't want to, right? And he gave her a Pediasure. Now, we were taking the turns. Okay, Walter indicated that he and Melissa would take turns sleeping in order to watch MJG. Walter said in addition to the camera, which he indicated that he purchased off Amazon approximately 5 years prior. 5 years you say? 5 years, eh? Interesting how that matches the timing of when you got your daughter back. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, she's moving in, get a camera. He also had an alarm on her bedroom door. Walter said the camera beeps into his room when it moves and when it follows her. Walter said this was mostly because she was doing the self-harm, which, by the way, the doctors found no evidence of that beyond the picking of her skin. And Walter said he would address it through the cameras by saying her name. You're not supposed to be picking. Investigator Wolfel asked Walter if when he said that she would self-harm, he meant that she was picking, and he said yeah. Walter said when the victim would get mad at him, she would dig her nails into her leg until she bled. Brock asked Walter if he ever reached out for help or resources, and he said he tried with the CP Center. Do you believe him? Do you believe that guy when he says that? I don't think so, right? Sharon says, will the PCA be uploaded to Patreon? Possibly, yes, possibly. Mparts123 said he should definitely rename Walter Badman and Melissa Badman. The turd. Or the turd. Vile scumbag says the sticker. Thank you for your £5 sticker. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's quickly go here. Walter said, yes, okay, we were here. Walter said he had not brought the victim to the doctor because she was healthy. Sorry to say, but like, dude, do you know what healthy is? I don't know. I feel like you're all jealous because she's healthy. Everybody else in the house is very, very sick. You know? One's got cancer, liver cirrhosis, kidney problems, major obesity. And he's like, yeah, you know, he didn't bring her to the doctor because she was healthy. Oh, and you like to make her sick or what? What's going on here? Walter recalled the last time that she went to the doctor was a few years prior at a Bellin clinic in Howard. Walter said he brought MJG to the doctor to help with her sleeping because he noticed when she wasn't sleeping, she wasn't gaining weight. Walter said when the victim would sleep, she would gain weight and go up to 60 or 70 pounds. And when she was not sleeping, she would go down to 40 pounds. That doesn't even make any sense, you know, because you're not burning that many calories by just not sleeping, meaning if she's locked in a room and not moving and not allowed to go outside or anything, yeah, okay, dude, you keep telling yourself. Red flag for massive abuse going on here. Walter said 6 days prior to him calling the ambulance, the victim became sick. He said she complained of her stomach hurting, so he brought her a bucket and she would puke. Walter said by day 3, the victim was fine. Walter said she stopped puking and she was eating normal. He said the following day, she said her stomach kind of hurt, so he gave her a watered-down Pediasure, and for lunch, he gave her a second watered-down Pediasure and a water with a liquid IV, and described MJG as being fine. He said the day prior to the ambulance being called, the victim was feeling fine and looking normal, acting fine, like nothing was wrong with her. Walter said that MJG ate a whole square frozen pizza for lunch earlier in the day, and by 3 p.m. she was puking in a bucket, and after puking, she lay down. Walter said he instructed the victim to lay on her side in the event she puked again. He said he laid with his head back in his chair and woke up to hearing her moaning. Through the camera, he could see her arm flopping around. Walter said he zoomed in on her face and said her name through the camera, but she wasn't answering him. Like, really? You're saying this stuff out loud? You're like, you know what? I zoomed in on her. Yeah, we're zooming in now. Damn, she's not looking good. Let me shout at her through the camera and say her name. But she wasn't answering him. Really? You're not going to, like, you know, bust through that locked door that you put up? Break through those alarms and go check on her? No, you're going to zoom in. Sure, that is just like, wow. Okay, so Walter said he could see that she peed her pants, so he grabbed her pants. Walter said he noticed her eyes rolling back through the camera, so he said, oh, and that's probably, oh shit, and called 911. Walter said prior to the ambulance arriving, he was giving her sips of wild cherry Pepsi. Walter said when he saw JG's eyes rolling back, he remembered. Ah, her mother was diabetic, so he thought giving her the Pepsi may help her. Oh, you thought you could help her that last moment when she's literally almost dead. They said she was on death's doorstep. So like, oh, quickly gave her some Pepsi there, you know. Brock informed Walter after a conversation with medical providers that it seemed as if MJG hadn't been eating for a while and was severely malnourished. Walter immediately said, no, she's been eating. She eats every day. It's she don't sleep. Walter said MJG would eat anything, and her typical meals were 2 packages of Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Excellent for a diabetic, not. Oh, this guy. Yeah, gave her 2 packages of Pop-Tarts for breakfast and then said she typically don't eat in the morning, so he'd give her a Pediasure the size of a soda can. Walter said for lunch she would eat a sandwich, either bologna or peanut butter and jelly. And, do you guys believe this, huh? And some chips and sliced apple. Can you picture these people slicing an apple for this victim? With the abuse you've already heard, and we're only on page 10 out of 41. You people want us to believe what? You slicing apples and sprinkling a little bit of cinnamon on there for her? I don't think so. I don't think there's an apple inside. And I don't think you're giving this victim any apples. Shame. The victim was saying when she was in the hospital that she just like dreams of eating vegetables. My goodness. Okay, so yeah, we don't believe you. Bologna, peanut butter jelly, some chips and a sliced apple. Walter said sometimes the victim would eat 2 or 3 sandwiches. Liar. Walter said MJG would normally eat dinner and would eat whatever they prepared for dinner. He said he would walk the victim to the bathroom because she could not be trusted due to the knives issue. I do give you spoilers here and there because I think it might help for context later, and you'll hear it later yourself. But she actually needed help to walk to that bathroom, and only when they allowed her to, because she was so weak that she couldn't hold herself up. She said she had to lean on furniture, she had to like hold onto the wall and crawl sometimes to the bathroom when they let her out. Do you think she got to shower every day? No. She said she doesn't even know how often. Maybe once a week or in a month. She doesn't know. So yeah, even when she was let out of that room, oh, he's controlling all of that, walking her too, because he says he can't trust her due to the knives issue. Walter said he would walk her to the bathroom door, she would go in, shut the door, and he would stand outside in the hallway and wait for her. Brock informed Walter that everyone else in the home was heavier, and Walter said that MJG did not sleep, and if she's not sleeping, you know, she'd just be burning up everything that she did eat. Damn. If weight loss was that easy, hey? Sure. I mean, you guys know I don't sleep, right? And I'm still busy defluffing, okay? So, like, don't lie, bro. She wouldn't sleep. She'd burn everything she ate. She had bologna sandwiches, chips, apples, Pediasure, a whole frozen pizza. But, you know, because she didn't sleep, this child was just, like, losing weight. What an uneducated comment he's making. Walter said that he has tried everything possible and described MJG as the healthy one who does not get sick. Walter said that the victim would be constantly moving in a room and that she plays with the puppies outside. No, she doesn't. She said herself she hasn't been outside in years, okay? Walter said that MJG's knees are bent because she curls up in a ball all the time and she stays curled up. Walter described the victim walking like an old man and that she stays curled up like a fetus. Yeah, her own dad's saying this, okay? Walter said that MJG has walked this way for the past few years. Really? You mean like the past 5 years? Even the past 3? How long, Walter? Tell us how long she's been walking this way. You know, that you starving her, depriving her, there's malnutrition, there's neglect, her bones are hurting. I mean, and he's like, yeah, you know, she's just curled up like a fetus. Yeah, I can't roll my eyes anymore. Sure, we gotta breathe, hey? Helen, thank you for being a member for 29 months. Now, investigator Wolfel asked Walter what MJG would do with the knives for him to feel like he needed to have a camera in her room due to the incident with her sleeping with a knife under her pillow. Walter said that was it, and that he took the knife away after that. Walter said he kept the cameras in her room because she would self-harm by picking. Investigator Wolfel asked Walter if the victim threatened herself or anyone else with the knives, and he said no, but that she did say a couple of times that she would be better off dead. Because of you, bro. All of you. this disgusting circumstance, this abuse that's so severe. And he just says it so casually. Look at him. Look how they quote him saying it there. Just, well, basically saying that, oh, she said, you know, here and there she mentioned it. However, she did not have a knife when she said that. Investigator Wolfel asked Walter if he still had the cameras in her room and if he could see in MJG's room right now. And he said, yeah. Investigator Wolfel asked Walter if he could show her so she could best understand the perspective. Walter showed the investigator the camera, the view on his phone, and how he could zoom in. Oh my word, he's actually like going to be like, yeah, let me show it to you. See here? Look at that, pinch and zoom. You see that? You can zoom in right on it. Okay. Put the handcuffs on this one. They did. Don't worry, they've all been arrested. Okay. So Walter again described how before calling 911, he zoomed in and he could see MJG foaming at the mouth, moaning and flailing her arm. Walter indicated that he was enrolled Oneida. Okay, Walter indicated that he was enrolled Oneida. Investigator Wolfel asked Walter if he utilized the Oneida Community Health Center. Walter indicated that he did not, and that did not like their doctors because it took too long to get in. He confirmed that the victim had never been seen there while he had custody of her. August 22nd of 2025, contact with Kayla, Melissa, Savanna, Walter, and NM. NM is the 15-year-old boy who also lived in the house. Melissa's other son, right? Melissa's son. She's got a son and a daughter. Okay, so August 22nd. On August 22nd, 2025, at approximately 11 a.m., Officer Lightska, along with Ruth, a worker from Outagamie Child Protective Services, and a Libra, a worker from Oneida Indian Child Welfare, went to the trailer. Kayla answered the door. Officer Lightska identified himself along with CPS and ICW and asked if Melissa was home. Kayla initially advised that Melissa was not home and that Kayla was the only one in the house and that she last saw Melissa the prior day. August 21st of 2025. Kayla advised that she would try to reach Melissa and then she closed the door. A short time later, Kayla reopened the door, at which time she had Walter on FaceTime. Ruth from CPS asked Walter where Melissa was and advised that she needed to speak with Melissa, who is the step monster of the house, right? Stepmother? Walter's wife. At which time Sam indicated, that's his middle name, Walter Sam Goodman, indicated that she was probably waking up and that she had kidney issues. Kayla said that she would check Melissa's room to see if Melissa was in there. Sam advised that Melissa is bedridden and that he would contact her and see if she'd be willing to speak via phone. So Kayla is answering the door, who is the girlfriend of Melissa's daughter. He's like, oh no, Melissa home? I don't know where she is. Haven't seen her since yesterday. And they're like, oh yeah, she's in the bed. Yo, what liars, hey? Imagine the body cam of this. We don't have that yet. I'm just saying, can you imagine if we see that? Like at the trial or something, right? If they stream it. Anyway, so it says, Ruth advised she needed to speak with Melissa in person. A short time later, Kayla exited the trailer and said, yeah, Melissa was getting dressed. While Kayla was outside, Ruth asked Kayla about her understanding of what had happened with MJG. Now, here are the lies. Compare the stories that all these people are telling the police, right? We had Walter's story. Here we go with Kayla's story, specifically with what they fed the victim and all that. So, Kayla advised that MJG had been sick for a week and was throwing up. Kayla went on to state that MJG has been losing weight rapidly, and since she's not sleeping, she doesn't gain any weight. Oh, okay. The dumb comments are going all around between all these four people. They share an IQ. Okay, so been losing weight. Yeah, okay. Kayla advised that MJG would go 3 to 4 days without sleeping. Oh, really? Because Walter said 1 to 3 weeks. Ruth asked if MJG is offered food and water, and Kayla advised that she gets 3 meals a day. Ruth asked, oh, what does she eat? And Kayla advised she would eat Pediasure. Okay, check. Walter said that. Sandwiches or leftovers from whatever was prepared. Kayla advised that MJG threw up. Kayla advised that MJG was abused by her mom and gave her 6 to 8 sleeping pills regularly. Listen, all four of you, the 6 to 8 sleeping pills, if that's true, is one thing. What you all four did allegedly is way worse, okay? So let's stop looking at the mom. You had her for 5 years and look what you did. You know, but they want to like deflect, like that mom is abusive. Right. So Walter, who was still on FaceTime, advised that the victim has autism and will refuse to eat. Walter went on to state that he will give the victim Pediasure because she thinks it's milk. Walter advised, maybe he also thinks it's milk. Okay. Walter advised that he gives her breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner if she'll eat. No, bro, you forgot a couple of words there. If you'll let her eat. or if all of you haven't cleaned out all the fridges in the house. When Ruth questioned Walter that MJG's weight doesn't match 3 meals a day, Walter advised it's because she doesn't sleep and she burns up all her energy. Okay? She's eating the 3 meals a day, triple sandwiches sometimes, whole ass pizzas, but you know what? Doesn't sleep, therefore loses weight rapidly. Ruth then asked Walter if he noticed that MJG wasn't eating and was losing weight, why he didn't call the doctor. He advised, I didn't call the doctor, I didn't think anything of it. Walter went on to say that he has stage 4 liver disease and that MJG's weight fluctuates. Walter advised that MJG threw up earlier the prior day, August 21st of 2025, and then laid back down. He added that he heard MJG moaning and groaning, so he went in the room and noticed she wasn't acting right. After Ruth questioned why he waited to call 911, Walter advised it was because, her weight fluctuates so much. He advised that he has a scale that goes up to 800 pounds. Oh, damn. Setting goals over there or what? Ruth questioned whether Stop it. Focus. Let me have a sip of water. Carol Hearn says, LMAO, that's not how biological science works, bruh. I know, right? Who are they trying to convince? Okay. Ruth questioned whether MJG could walk to the scale, and Walter advised that MJG was walking and talking fine yesterday, and then dropped. Walter advised at the beginning of last month, July, MJG, the victim, weighed 70 pounds. He advised that her weight started declining, because she wasn't sleeping, but added that she would gain the weight back and then lose it again. I think he's again projecting. When Ruth advised Walter that MJG should have been seen by a doctor, he admitted that, she should have been seen by a physician. At least here and there he admits things in between, right? Tracy said, is that slop or drool on her shirt? Oh, you think that's bad, Tracy? Wait, guys, I've got one more picture for you here. Just hold on 1 second. Where can I, wait. I want to find it. Let me see. I've got it here. Yeah, here we go. My word. Hey? Okay, wait, we got to actually, sorry. Like, what is she leaking out of her pants? This is Savanna, the stepsister, I believe. Yeah? Okay, wait, it's not that one. Wait, I want to just take this one picture off so you can see it properly. There you go. Oh my goodness, Tracy's asking is it slop or drool on her shirt? Well, what's on the floor, man? Tracy, look on the floor. What is going on here? Damn. And wait till you hear the text messages that this one is sending to her girlfriend, that this one is sending to her mother. Oh, yes. See, I was nice. I chose the best pictures I could find of them. I just had to show you this one. All right. I think there's even another one. Hold on. There's one more. Let's find it. This is of the step monster. Sure, yeah. There she is. Okay, part of the allegedly starving this little girl, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have that. Now let's bring this back up so we can follow who's who. I should have said trigger warning again, right? Okay, sorry about that. So while Walter was talking to Ruth, Melissa came to the door. She appeared to have limited mobility and to be significantly obese. Melissa advised that MJG threw up in the morning, but that she thought it was because she ate too fast or that MJG caught a bug. Melissa advised that she was going to lay down, as in the victim was going to lay down, and when she got up, Walter checked on her and noticed she wasn't right. I think all of you aren't right, okay? They're always like, oh, she ain't acting right. You aren't acting right. Okay. So Ruth advised that she needed to go into the house and see where MJG slept. Before going into the house, Walter advised Ruth that MJG's bed was on the floor due to her breaking the bed frame. And you'll find out when they show us, when it's like Uncle Google's going to get you, but then also your own text messages are going to bite you in the ass. Yeah, all the messages they send to each other, we're going to go through those. And no, they just punished her by making her sleep on the floor. It's not because she broke the bed. Well, I think one of them broke the bed. Again, I'm going to say that. I think it's more likely that either or any of you four broke the bed. All the beds. You probably all sleep on the floor, don't you? You know what I mean? And therefore she also had to, or what? I don't think the little 35-pound girl is breaking any beds, all right? So Ruth questioned Melissa about MJG's weight, and Melissa advised that she would lose the weight. but it was slowly, and then added that she would gain the weight back. Melissa stated that MJG came to them as a petite girl. Oh, I'm sorry, but compared to what? Melissa went on to mention that MJG was given the Pediasures and protein bars. Melissa indicated that she believed that MJG caught a little bug since Kayla works with people. Oh my word, I actually should have mentioned that earlier as well. Kayla works with children. What? She's like, I think she called herself a behavioral technician. She's working with little kids. Wow. Okay, so anyway, so that's why she said, yeah, she probably caught a little bug since Kayla works with people. By people, you mean children? Interesting language, though, if she says people instead of children, right? Yeah, because there's no, you don't know then how to treat children. Melissa advised that MJG got very sick, and that's when Walter thought about taking her in. Melissa stated, looking back now, yeah, we probably should have taken her in. You think? When Ruth questioned Melissa about MJG not acting like herself, Melissa advised that they talked about taking MJG in, but added that the victim likes to fib. More victim blaming. And say things are wrong with her. Oh, she likes to fib. So the hypothermia, the malnutrition, you know, the sores, the everything that we're going to find later. Oh, you think that that's just her fibbing and saying that things are wrong with her. Melissa advised when the victim got sick, they decided they were going to watch and see what was going on because she was acting normal, except that she was losing weight. Melissa advised they were going to increase her protein. She advised it was after MJG threw up that Walter decided to call the ambulance. What, threw up after 5 years? After Ruth advised that if a 70-pound child is losing weight, she should be taken in, Melissa stated, now I know that. Melissa advised that she didn't recall the last time that the victim was weighed, but she weighed about 62 or 63 pounds. Melissa advised that MJG has not been to a doctor because Walter didn't like the pediatrician that she had. I'm sure the pediatrician, it's mutual feelings there, you know? Melissa advised that MJG has been healthy except for the weight loss, and that they offered MJG food, and sometimes she'd eat it, but if she didn't, she'd be offered something else. Yeah, what is the something else? Like major punishment? When Ruth questioned Melissa again about MJG's pediatrician, Melissa advised that Walter never thought she needed to go. Melissa then stated that Walter was going to take MJG to the family doctor, but never did. Ruth from CPS and Alibra from ICW spoke to the boy who lived in the house, right? 15-year-old son of Melissa. And him stated that if Sam, that's actually Walter Sam, if Sam and Melissa needed to sleep in, then Kayla may take over caring for, say that carefully, caring for MJG. And then further advised that there's enough food in the house. Ruth also spoke with Savanna, who also appeared to be significantly obese. Savanna advised that she was somewhat aware of what was happening, but was also working at the time and doesn't come out of her bedroom. Savanna, she worked from home, okay? Like Chazzy boy. Savanna advised that MJG's primary caregivers are Sam and Melissa. Again, Sam is Walter. Walter's middle name is Sam. Don't get confused. Look at the picture. Walter Goodman, bio father, middle name Sam. Okay? So, Sam and Melissa. Savanna advised that she worked in childcare. Sorry, what? She worked in childcare for many years and added that she knew it was her job to report any issues. Oh, you worked in childcare. Imagine if those parents now see what you did to a child living in your house. Wow. Savanna added that she didn't have any concerns. August 25th of 2025, contact with an Anthony, right? So Anthony, August 25th of 2025, Officer Wolfel, along with representatives from CPS and ICW, spoke with Anthony. While speaking with Anthony, he indicated that he and Walter grew up together, so he's known Walter for a long time. They started hanging out in the beginning of summer, after Tony had bought some four-wheelers, and Walter would come over and help fix them. Tony said he estimated that Walter brought the victim to Tony's house with him 4 times over the course of the summer. Tony indicated that he thought that MJG was younger than 14 because she was super skinny, that he thought that MJG was 8 or 9 years old. Tony said while he would be working on the four-wheeler, the victim would ask Tony why he was doing certain things, and Walter, her dad, would get irritated and tell her not to say anything. Tony indicated that he heard Walter make comments like, if she misbehaves, I'm not going to feed her today. Oh, can't wait to see him testify. Tony said he told Walter that he can't do that. And Walter said, well, I keep her locked up in her bedroom with a camera on her, and that's where she stays. Tony said he told Walter that he can't lock a kid in a bedroom. That was abuse. And Tony indicated that at times when Walter brought the victim to his house, Walter would tell the victim to shut the F up and sit there and don't say nothing. By the way, when I say I can't wait to see him testify, we do not have a trial date yet, okay? These people are still having their preliminary hearings. It's coming up this week again, right? The 4 of them will have preliminary hearings on November 19th and 20th. They're being held on a $150,000 bond. So I don't know when the trial is. I'm just saying when the trial is, oh man, Anthony, you're already a favorite. You're going to tell on this guy, aren't you? I do like that. Tell everything. So Tony indicated that he would offer the victim things like water or a sandwich. Tony indicated that there was nothing notable about how she would eat. He said he confronted Walter a few times about how he treated the victim, and Walter would say that Tony didn't understand, that MJG drives him nuts, and indicated that Walter said, if I could leave her somewhere in the woods, I'd leave her. That is so painful. You know? I wonder if you even overheard that. That is disgusting. He says, if I could leave her somewhere in the woods, I'd leave her. And that Walter said directly to his daughter, I wish I could kill you. That's very sad. Again, the feeling's probably mutual there, you know, at this point. Actually not, you know, later shame, man. Shame. When the victim's in the hospital and being treated, she says she loves them. She loves all 4 of them. Shame, that's so sad. It's what she knows, you know. But to look at her directly and say, I wish I could kill you. Wow. Okay. Tony later said that the victim would respond to Walter talking to her that way by being really timid. Tony also said that Walter told him that he would catch the victim digging in the garbage. And Tony said, well, hello, you're taking food away from her. She has to eat. 2019-2020 school year. By the way, if you like, when I read documents to you like this, remember to either check that the like button's working or like and share so that, you know, I have a good indication if you want me to continue to do stuff like this. I like documents. I love reading documents to you guys. And here we go. We're on page 13, everyone, out of 41. I told you, it's very lengthy. We're not even halfway yet. Okay, 2019 to 2020 school year. Officer Edward Metoxen has been the police school liaison officer at the Oneida Nation Elementary School since 2016. On Tuesday, August 26th of 2025, he spoke with MJG's 2019-2020 school year 3rd grade teacher, Kita. Officer Metoxen asked Kita if she remembered MJG, and Kita confirmed she did. She recalled that she had MJG when school went virtual due to COVID during the 2019-2020 school year. Kita recalled MJG being friendly and talkative. She said that the victim was more active than other kids and frequently moved around. She said that MJG did not have a problem eating and appeared to be healthy while she was her student. Kita informed Officer Metoxen that she was not aware of MJG being autistic or on the spectrum. She was not enrolled in any special education programs at the school, and Kita said that MJG was at school almost every day and remembered that MJG would send her messages after school went virtual, indicating that she missed her. Officer Metoxen remembers MJG as being a healthy, normal 3rd grade student who interacted appropriately with her peers and staff. August 29th of 2025, interview with Kayla. Now look at the picture. Who's Kayla? Pop quiz, everyone. Kayla is the girlfriend of the step-sister of the victim, meaning Walter is the dad, Walter Sam Goodman. He's married to Melissa Goodman. Melissa's got a son who lives in the house, NM, and then she's got a daughter, Savanna. Savanna has a girlfriend, Kayla. Now here they go again, Kayla's interview. Sally, thank you so much for your sticker. On August 29th of 2025, listen to the lives again. Investigator Wolfel spoke to Kayla at the Oneida Police Department. Kayla indicated that she moved into the residence with Sam, Melissa, Savanna, and NM in August of 2021. Here we go. Kayla attended school for early childhood education. She previously worked as an assistant teacher in the 3-year-old room at the Oneida Head Start, and that she began working for the Wisconsin Early Autism Project, WEAP, beginning in 2023. And this is how you either treat or allow an autistic, according to you guys, you self-diagnosing her, child to be treated at home? License gone, can never teach again, I hope. I hope they can never be around children again. But that's just so ironic. My goodness, she said she's worked numerous roles at, I guess it said WEAP, right? WEAP. And her current title was Advanced Technician. Advanced Abuser is what I would update that to. Allegedly. Allegedly Advanced Abuser. Kayla indicated that she works with kids on social skills, learning letters and numbers or whatever they needed to learn to prepare for school, and described it as being individualized per child. Kayla said she began having medical problems, which resulted in her doctor lowering the number of hours that she was allowed to work. Kayla said she was currently only allowed to work 12 hours a week. Kayla said she currently only works with one client who's 3 years old. She's calling a 3-year-old a client, but okay. And she works with that child at a clinic. Maybe in normal context, they could say one client, 3 years old. But in this context, I'm just looking at all the language that these people are using, right? Pixie Dust says, thank you for sharing these documents with us. Thank you so much. I just wanted to say a disclaimer. I do not only put stickers on the screen, but when I'm focused on a document, the colors over there, I could see the color lighting up. I got to put it up because if I miss it, right? With the software I use here, I can't star it or something. So I got to put it up, catch it, and I'm very grateful for your support. Thank you so much. As you guys can see, have you seen one advert? I don't think so. It's because of people like Pixie Dust supporting the work that I do. Thank you. Then I don't have to have ads on every freaking 6 minutes because who wants that? Are we ready to continue? Yvonne said, love when you read us documents. Thank you. Thank you so much. Deception Detective is in the house just when we are detecting some deception going on with the language these people use, right? Did you pick that up too? And she's like, I only have one client. My client is 3 years old. Wow. Okay. And Melissa, the mother of Savannah's dating Kayla, said that Kayla worked with people. And by people, you mean children, right? You mean children, like little kids. Oh my goodness. So, while discussing MJG, Kayla indicated that the victim's arms and legs have always been super skinny. I'm going to say again, compared to what, you know, in this case especially, I'm just saying, okay, when she did weigh 60 or 65 pounds, it was all in her stomach and described her as having a beer belly look. Hello, that's like kwashiorkor. That's like severe malnourishment. That's like such a severe protein deficiency that you have this beer belly look, as they saying. It would be a beer belly. Oh, they're so disgusting how they describe it. Like, yeah. Lacking major nutrition, major protein, needs medical intervention. You know? Deception Detective said, sadists. I know, right? Sure. Okay, so, US Patriot Lady said, the best document reader on the webs. Oh, thank you so much. I'll take it. I'll take that title. I love documents. So, okay. Yeah, so she said her arms and legs have always been super skinny and the beer belly look. Kayla said that MJG's weight would fluctuate and she did not know why. Really? You don't know why? I doubt it fluctuated. I think it was just rapidly declining. Caroline, you're still here. Thank you for being here for 49 months of membership. Damn. Caroline is an OG. You said yay kitty cats and yay tundroos. Thank you so much. All right. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla if the victim complained of stomach issues, and Kayla said that the victim would have trouble going to the bathroom, that she would ask to go to the bathroom, sit for 20 minutes, and nothing would happen. Okay, earth to dumbass, probably because you weren't feeding her. There's nothing in there. Kayla was asked why MJG would have to ask to go to the bathroom, and Kayla indicated that it was because the victim would steal food from the garbage. Kayla said that MJG gets 3 meals a day, but that she would try to steal sweeter foods, including Pop-Tarts and candy. You see the lies there? Her dad said that he gave her 2 Pop-Tarts for breakfast. This one, Kayla's saying, yeah, she'd try to steal the Pop-Tarts. Oh, okay. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla whether MJG would be denied if she asked for more food, and Kayla indicated that MJG would be denied because she would get enough food, and MJG could, if she could, she would eat all the time. I'm sorry, but guys, just look at the people saying this. Really? You want to limit, severely limit the intake, the calories of this little girl? Because you say, if she could, she would just eat all the time. I hope you're looking in your plastic mirrors. In jail. Indy, thank you so much. You said, love your smarty today. Is it smarty or snarky? Thank you so much. I think it's snark, right? All right, so can't help it. These people, wow. So, yeah, now look at this last sentence here in this paragraph. They would always feed her what she needed. Her minimum requirements. Oh, well. My. That's what's happening to all of you now in jail, isn't it? Yeah, you're also going to get your minimum requirements. Good luck with that. Kayla said for breakfast it was cereal or pancakes. Oh, now it's cereal or pancakes. But her dad says it's Pop-Tarts. But you're saying she steals Pop-Tarts. You freaking liars. I'm so glad they, of course, interviewed them separately. D, thanks for being a member for 22 months. Okay, so cereal or pancakes. Lunch, it was sandwiches. And for dinner, it was whatever they made. Normally casseroles, plural. Kayla indicated that MJG spent a lot of time in her bedroom. One would think she did because you locked the door. Wow. Kayla said she knew that MJG was getting her 3 meals because she would hear, "Here's your food," 3 times a day. You won't hear that in jail now too. "Here's your food." 4 in the morning. Kayla talked about MJG stealing food, including Pop-Tarts and a tortilla shell. She indicated that MJG would also get in trouble for picking. Kayla said that MJG picks her skin and hits herself when she gets mad. She said that MJG would pick her skin, end up with sores or scabs. She would pick at them. She indicated that Sam and Melissa would yell from their room or through the camera for MJG to stop picking. Right. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla about MJG being watched while going to the bathroom. Kayla indicated that the victim would go in the bathroom with the door closed and Sam, her dad, Walter, would wait outside so that he could hear if she self-harmed. Wow. C. Taylor said, "We love the documents. Your advocacy for victims or survivors is top-notch and so very appreciated. Thank you so much." Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla if anyone has worked since she moved in. Kayla said that Sam, who's Walter, used to work at Domino's, but stopped due to his liver issues. Are you sure that's why he stopped? Or is it because he ate all the pizza and didn't deliver any? I don't know. But stopped due to his liver issues. Just disclaimer again, we do not fat shame. Unless these people are starving children, I feel like that opens the door. And when you hear what they called the victim, all the names they called her, yeah, you're going to see later. Be like, oh, no wonder you're snarking at these people, okay? It is a unique situation. Melissa never worked since she had lived in the home, okay? Savanna used to work at the Oneida daycare. Whoa, daycare, damn. Prior to COVID, and since, she works from home doing administrative things, including Mary Kay. Like Chazzy Boy, I say again. Okay, so none of these people work. And 2 of them, Savanna and Kayla, used to work with children? Wow. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla how Sam, who's Walter, and Melissa get money to live. And here we go. Kayla said, as far as she knew, they got Social Security. Okay. Kayla said when NM got sick, Melissa began getting Social Security to take care of NM. Kayla says she does not pay rent, but helps around the house as her rent. How much are you really helping? Okay. Kayla said that Sam and Melissa have food share and she has food share. Kayla said they had 2 different fridges and freezers because everything was separate then. Kayla said that her and Savannah's fridge was the white one in the kitchen and their freezer was in their room. Kayla said that Sam and Melissa have the silver fridge in the kitchen and the stand-up freezer in the kitchen. Kayla said that NM and MJG get their food from Sam and Melissa's fridge and freezer, but that if NM wanted a snack from their fridge, they would share. Liars. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla when the last time Melissa left the home, and she said June for a doctor's appointment. Kayla said the last time Savanna left the home was in April for a doctor's appointment. Kayla said they were both terrified since the porch was not sturdy. I don't think the porch is the problem. I think the people stepping on it, hopefully not all at the same time, is the problem. Kayla estimated the last time either of them left prior to that was an additional 6 months prior. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla what Melissa or Savanna would do if they needed to speak with a doctor regarding a concern, and she said they would message their doctor on My Chart first. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla if MJG was allowed to leave her room, and she indicated that MJG was allowed to leave the room with supervision, and it was mostly Walter that helped her, but NM would help too. Kayla said that MJG needed to ask permission to leave her room and estimated she left her room maybe 3 or 4 times a day. Kayla said that the victim would ask to leave her room through the camera. Kayla said her door was closed most of the time. They're making as if she wants her door closed most of the time. As if. Investigator Wolfel asked Kayla if she helped with MJG at all, and Kayla indicated that when Sam and Melissa were gone for doctor's appointments for NM, she would help babysit MJG, but she was never a full-time caregiver of the victim. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla, I should say the survivor, but in this case it is the victim, right? But she survived. Phew, just shame, man. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla how often she would babysit MJG, and Kayla indicated that during the time frame when NM had cancer, it was quite often, because they would go and have treatment for so many days and then come home for like 4 days and then have to go back down. It was a lot. Kayla said during that time it was her and Savanna home with MJG. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla to tell her how MJG was when she babysat, and Kayla said that she was good. Kayla said Savanna was in charge of MJG's camera during babysitting and indicated that she was aware of the lock on MJG's door but denied using it. Kayla indicated she never questioned why the lock was there. I just never questioned it. There's like a child. I work with children, but there's like this child locked in a room with like cameras on her. She's being starved. Yeah. But I just never questioned it. We don't believe you. You just wanted it there too, right? Investigator Wolf asked Kayla if she ever witnessed the door being locked, and she indicated she did. That when she got home from work and it was still not time for her to wake up and it was locked, Kayla said they would unlock it when they were awake. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla if there was ever a time when she questioned how the victim was treated, and she said no. Like, okay. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla if she always thought that MJG was safe at home, and she said yes. Investigator Wolf asked Kayla if MJG was happy, and she indicated yes, that she would smile a lot. She would play with her toys, tell you about her toys through the camera while she was playing with them. How sick is that, and how sad is that? This little girl is alone in a locked room. No love, no nurturing, no food by the sounds of it, hardly any. No toilet, no showers, no nothing. But yeah, she would just play with her toys and then be talking to the camera. And this person is saying that out loud, and they're okay with it. Wow. Yeah, none the wiser said they are not fat. They are gigantic and vile. The vile, very vile people. My goodness. Interview with Walter at Oneida Police Department, August 29th of 2025. What I do want to do quickly now is I want to show you a little clip as a little break from the document. We're on page 15 and we're going to get right back into it, okay? So hold on 1 second. Let me just take away this trigger warning quickly. And let's quickly look at this clip that I have for you here. Okay.
If you ask people who live on this street in Oneida, most say they hardly ever saw anyone come or go from this home. But one neighbor says she did see what happened the day first responders arrived in August.
She looked so tiny because the guy that was carrying her was like holding her like this much maybe. And then her head hanging here and her little legs there. And I was like, oh my God.
Pam Medina says she frequently saw multiple grocery deliveries to the house, sometimes more than once a day, and called it upsetting, given what investigators now say about the child's severe malnutrition.
How could they do that to her? If I'd known that, I would have been beating them girls up all the way in there just to pull her out.
According to the criminal complaint, the 14-year-old girl was allegedly kept in a locked bedroom where food and water were restricted. In text messages, the suspects wrote that she was, quote, not to be let out of her room at all, and was, quote, only given her water at specific times. The complaint says she had limited access to the bathroom and shower. Her mattress was removed, and she was ordered to sleep on the bare floor. Investigators say she weighed just 35 pounds in August and was suffering from severe malnutrition and organ failure.
Off camera, the girl's grandparents tell me they saw their granddaughter a few weeks ago. They said she had gained weight, grown, and is doing well. They say she's living outside the hospital, but they would not share where for her safety and privacy. As for the three other adults accused in this case, 47-year-old Walter Goodman, 29-year-old Savanna Lefever, and 27-year-old Kayla Stemler are all due back in court in the coming weeks. We'll keep following this case as it moves through court.
Through the court, right? And we know when they're next in court. So I just want to show you that clip. Shame, man. So the neighbors were like, whoa. They saw her being carried out. Okay, so interview with Walter at Oneida Police Department, August 29th of 2025. Let's zoom in a little bit more again. Let's make sure we have our trigger warning up, especially if somebody's only joining now, right? And let's make sure we got the picture of the people so we know who's who. Otherwise, They mentioned so many people we might not know. Okay. On August 29th of 2025, investigator Wolfel interviewed Walter at the Oneida Police Department. Walter reported that he knew MJG's mom, AF, in high school and that they reconnected in 2009 and started dating. They were in an on and off relationship when, in 2010, after not speaking for about a month, AF called him and told him she was pregnant and that he was the father. He questioned how AF knew he was the father, since AF redacted all these guys, so I can just imagine what that word is. And AF told him it was because she knew the timeline. Walter said he told AF to let him know when she got closer. Walter moved to Tennessee and then subsequently moved back sometime after MJG was born. AF would bring MJG over to his house, and he first met MJG when she was about 3 to 4 months old. That's his own daughter, okay? Walter said he told AF that she needed to get the paternity done, so he was not sitting here wasting my time on someone else's kid. Walter said AF had given MJG her boyfriend's last name, and when he got custody of MJG, he changed her last name to Goodman. Walter reported that in addition to MJG, he had 3 other children who are now all adults, but that he only communicates with one of them and has not seen any of them in years. The last time he saw them was during a court date when they got their names changed. That's a red flag, right? That is a red flag. Your own kids are not talking to you, okay? Well, we'd love to see them on the stand at the trial. Walter reported that prior to that, there was a period of time when he was dating a girl named Dana. He didn't remember Dana's last name. When he had MJG regularly, he said he went to jail for child support, and while he was in jail, Dana left him. Okay. After he got out of jail, he started dating Melissa, who he reported that he met online in 2014 and married March 3rd of 2016. Sam, who's Walter, didn't have contact with his daughter at the time that he dated Dana until AF contacted him asking if MJG could come over because she was in the process of moving. Walter remembered that when MJG came to his house that day, they painted Easter eggs. Walter reported that this visit with MJG was in March or April of 2020, but a photo depicting MJG at Walter's house coloring Easter eggs was located, dated April 20th of 2019. Walter reported that AF subsequently went to jail, after which CPS contacted him to see if he wanted MJG. Walter reported that he agreed to take MJG and that he wanted to work slowly into that. Oh man. Now the search warrant at the home, August 27th of 2025. A search warrant was executed at the residence, and while searching the bedroom shared by Savanna and Kayla, inside of the closet, Detective Sergeant King located a barrel bolt lock used to lock doors. Alongside of the bolt lock was 2 long screws, approximately 3 inches in length. Earlier, Officer Metoxen saw screw holes in the door and door frame of MJG's bedroom door. After finding the bolt lock, investigator Wolfel and Officer Metoxen held up the bolt lock to the holes on MJG's door and observed that the 4 holes on the bolt lock matched the screw holes on the door. Oh, they were hiding that evidence, huh? Multiple digital devices were also located and seized. Now we get to the digital evidence, okay? The messages between all these people, which is really when you're going to need the picture to know who's who, just to follow along. NM's iPhone 16 Plus. He's not pictured because he's a teenage boy who lived in the house, Melissa's son. Sergeant Wall reviewed NM's iPhone 16 Plus and observed messages including but not limited to the following messages between NM and his mom, Melissa, pertinent to the care, treatment, neglect, and abuse of the victim in this case, who was at times referred to in the messages as dummy or stupid. 4/22/25. Melissa, okay, well, I just figured it'd be easier with dummy sleeping still. And then 5/16/25. Can you please make sure the door's locked? And so is stupid's, please. Now, I'm not going to read all the dates because you can see it on the screen. I'm just going to read what Melissa typed, okay? Melissa, the step monster. She said, okay, but make sure dummy's door's locked and make sure the front door is to when you key her in, but don't forget to check dummy's door. Given the context of the entire conversation, when Melissa says key her in, it appears that Melissa is referring to one of their dogs that NM had let out, and that when Melissa references stupid and dummy, she's referring to MJG. This is all, look, 2025, right? 6/11/25. Okay, so Melissa, I'm going to need your help when I have to feed MJG later. What time are you thinking you're going to go to bed so I can plan to make her food? I don't want to feed her too early because she's saying her stomach hurts right now. Is she supposed to pee? Asked the teenage boy. Is she supposed to pee or just... And that word's redacted. Oh dear. Melissa said she can do both. Given the context of the entire It appears to be in reference to MJG and whether she's allowed to urinate or only defecate. Like they were even controlling that, what she's allowed to do when she goes to the bathroom. 6/11/25, Melissa said, NM, promise me you're going to stay awake, please, just so we can get dummy fed and the dogs fed and potties again before bed. Melissa, I think I'm going to have you help me get Dummy's food ready at 7:15 to 7:30 so I can feed her, and then around 8 to 8:30 bring the dogs in and feed them and then take them out and put them to bed. Sound okay? And Savanna will take MJG to the bathroom. Melissa says, but Savanna said you'll have to lock her door, please, after she lets her go. This conversation appears to relate to MJG having to be accompanied to the bathroom and then getting locked in her room. On the 31st of March of 2025, NM asked Melissa what they, seemingly Melissa and Walter, were fighting about, and the following exchange takes place. Melissa, because last night I took her water away, and then he took her to the bathroom and let her drink it. Prior on conversations, it appears they are talking about Walter taking MJG to the bathroom and letting her drink some water. 4/3/25, NM, the teenage boy. Did Dad let her redacted when he took her to the bathroom? Melissa, no, he hasn't taken her since earlier today. He says, I thought he took her earlier. Melissa, he took her to pee. Well, he says he took her pee, okay? Given the context of the conversation, it appears this is referring to Walter taking MJG to the bathroom and whether he allowed her to defecate or urinate. NM, the teenage boy, said, stupid's crying. He said, has stupid been laying right? Melissa, oh, sorry, then it says 8/14/25, 3:43 a.m. The conversation shows NM asking what was going on and hearing some yelling. Melissa, oh, I don't know. I was yelling at stupid. Savanna's iPhone 16. Oh, the stepsister monster. Officer Wall reviewed one of Savanna's phones and also an iPhone 16 and observed messages, including but not limited to the following messages, which Savanna participated in, pertinent to the care, treatment, abuse, and neglect of MJG. On 7/16/24, 3:39 p.m., the following exchange was observed regarding Savanna asking NM to let Sassy, the dog, outside, and NM asking Savanna whether MJG, dummy, can do it, with Savanna responding by telling NM to make sure that MJG doesn't stand in front of the door. Savanna says, can you let her go potty, please? Savanna says, Sassy. NM says, can't dummy, please? Savanna says, call her, but make sure she doesn't stand in front of the door. Have her let her in. Here's the date, 7/16/24. Savanna says, can you come shut my door, please? NM says, yeah, in a minute. Savanna, never mind. I can have stupid do it. You see, these text messages are going to sink them all as well. Can you imagine what they maybe Googled or what they did? But just this alone. There's a lot of evidence already just in this probable cause affidavit, of course. Savanna says, call stupid to let Lily in when she's ready, please. Sergeant Wall believes Lily to be one of the dogs. Savanna said, can you watch stupid for me if I send her to get the bread, turkey, and cheese for me? 7/27/24, Savanna, can you open MJG's door for me, please? And Savanna says, can you unlock stupid's door for me too, please? Can you do me a favor? Never mind. NM says, why? Savanna says, cause I called stupid. 8/18/24, NM, why did she even take? Savanna, can you come help me for a second? I'm sorry. A protein bar from behind my door. He said, oh. Unwrapped it and everything. Had it in her pants. But I don't know how she even did it. NM says, and yeah, I can. Savanna says, so stupid. NM says, LMAO. Savanna, I'm sorry. She was helping me, but she had to be an idiot. NM said, she's stupid. Savanna says, I know, I hate her. She stole a protein bar because she was so hungry, clearly. 8/27/24, beginning 1:18 p.m. Savanna says, can you come stand in here so stupid can fix my bed? I need you to open stupid's door, please, so she can fix my phone charger. It's not parking. And then she says, working, lol. I need a plate, 2 string cheese, a thing of sliced turkey, the bell peppers, and the hummus. NM says, from where? She says, it's all in my fridge. Can you bring me 2 vitamin water zeros, please? I think they're behind mom and dad's couch. I'm sorry for being a pain. He says, where are the bell peppers? Savannah says, not sure. They're in a clear bag. Send me a picture of the fridge. He says, I don't see any clear bags. Savannah, send me a picture or ask mom if stupid can come help find them. Wow. The conversation continues with Savanna trying to explain to NM where the food is that she wants him to bring to her. NM says, I don't know, dummy being stupid like always. Kayla's iPhone 16. Sergeant Wall reviewed Kayla's iPhone 16 and observed messages including but not limited to the following messages which Kayla participated in, pertinent to the care, treatment, neglect, and abuse of MJG. Kayla, I figured we could talk here so we're all on the same page. I feel bad because we're supposed to be watching MJG and you have a million other things to worry about. You're fine. Melissa says, you're fine. They just left to go to the doctor, so it's just me. It's fine. Savanna said, I'm going to roundhouse kick her ass through the window. Melissa says, do it. Savanna sends an attachment, but it states empty file. Kayla says, lol, she deserves it. Kayla, it's just like when has it ever been okay to just take food off her TV? Savanna sends an attachment, but it states empty file. Melissa, it's never been okay. It's never been okay and she knew and heard what you said. It's just MJG being an ass and doing what she wants to. Well, I'm going to handle it when I get home, trust me. Melissa said, and Dad was pissed before that, so I know he'll be even madder. Savanna said, pissed at what? Melissa, go slap her ass again, because I keep telling her heads up and she keeps moving it back down. Melissa, I'm over the shit with her. Savanna, she thinks you logged in to yell at her, and then we logged back in, I'm sure. A few minutes later, after some conversation about the dogs, it goes back to MJG. Kayla, she knows the rules, she just doesn't care. Savanna sends an attachment, but it states empty file. It just makes me so mad. The first day was fine, and I was so hopeful it would be good, but of course not. Melissa, exactly, and she thinks that she can do as she wants, because we're not there. Well, she's wrong. Savanna sends an attachment, but it states empty file. Kayla, exactly, like every time I walk in there, now she asks if she can have something. Melissa, nope, she's a piece of, I can only imagine that means shit, who doesn't care about anyone but herself. Kayla, like, don't talk from your room. Can you guys believe what I'm saying? Really? They're vile, huh? They're really bad. It's gotten worse. Okay. Kayla, like, don't talk from your room. Savanna, she's also constantly yelling from her room and she's constantly being told to stop and still continues. Melissa, see, she feels she's owed it and she's not. She needs to earn everything. Savanna, yeah, she earned a bed on the floor and no more movies. LMAO, which means laughing my ass off. Savanna, dumbass. Kayla, exactly. But that's not how she thinks. Well, she's stupid. And I think she just has a peanut brain in that dumb head of hers. She thinks it's owed to her. And when people are nice, she takes it for granted and wants more. She's just ignorant, period. Kayla says, very true. Melissa, she's never satisfied. She's greedy and she thinks she deserves everything and then some. Well, it says, well, in here to stay, in here to say she don't deserve the dog. I guess that's dog shit off the yards. The victim is MJG. If anyone's just joining now, 14-year-old girl, severely malnourished, weighed 35 pounds, which is 16 kilograms when she was found, barely alive. Her father did call 911, thankfully, on that day, but this is after allegedly 5 years of abuse. Melissa, okay, this conversation continues, right? Melissa, the step monster, you could see the pictures there. She's listening to you guys, lol. Savanna, I'm going to let Sassy take a fat shit in her room all night instead of going outside. She always does. She's redacted nosy, always listening and laughing. And I told her yesterday, who told you to listen and who told you to laugh at me? Shut up, close your ear holes, lol. Melissa, yeah, she does always. We get after her all the damn time about it. She makes me so redacted mad, dude, I'm seething. Kayla, I've only had her since Saturday and I'm so mad to the bone. I don't know how in the world you do it. Melissa, the step monster. It's hard to be honest, and some days I don't want to anymore and wish she'd just go away. Melissa, I'm just being honest. Savanna, I just want to karate kick her dumb head. Kayla says, I totally get that. Conversation continues. Melissa states at one point, tell lol her shut up, she's not to talk. Okay. On 1/9/23, so they're kind of going backwards. They're going back in time in all these messages to show how far back this all goes. This behavior went on for a long time. They're proving the case already here in the PCA. Melissa and Kayla exchanged the following messages, again believed to be taking place when Kayla and Savanna are caring for MJG in the absence of Walter and Melissa. Melissa, MJG was naughty. Savanna said, you had to get after her this morning? Yeah, she thought she could just take out her movie and do what she pleased. Melissa, what an ass. She's getting too comfortable. Kayla, I told her this morning that she's not allowed to talk from her room or ask when she's going to get anything because Savanna will be sleeping and I'm going to work. When I came home, I told her my first priority is Savanna, Lily, and Sassy, so she has to patiently and quietly wait. Yeah, dogs first, everyone. Little girl needs to shut up and stay in her room, according to these people. Melissa said, yeah, she's dumb. She thinks she's top priority always. So frustrating. Kayla, I fed her with a shake and some cereal bars a little while ago and had her go to the bathroom, so her needs are met and she can wait until I get home and have time for her. Melissa, yeah, if she acts up, she gets the bed taken away and lays on the floor. No TV, period. Kayla says, okay, sounds good. We are planning to phase out serving her right away and feeding her every few hours so she can get back to her normal schedule. Melissa, yeah, she just expects, redacted, when you do something nice. I guess she just expects shit when you do something nice, and it's so frustrating. It seriously pisses me off. Kayla, I totally understand. She will be fed before you come home tomorrow, so she can wait until the next day for any more food if you choose, because we all know she's going to be an ass when you get home. Melissa, I'm planning her doing that, and I'm going to spank her ass if she does, because there's no reason for it all. Kayla, she asked this morning if, starting tonight, she could have a hug before bed, because last night she had a bad dream. And Kayla says, and I yelled at her to talking from her room. I guess from her room. I yelled at her for talking from her room. Melissa, yeah, it's all a game to pull you in closer because she believes she can manipulate you. Just tell her I know your games, girl, and I'm not falling for it all. Kayla, yeah, she's ridiculous. Like, these people are talking about a 14-year-old child, okay, who they are allegedly, based on the evidence, severely abusing. And they say she's trying to pull you in closer. She thinks she can manipulate you. She thinks she's the top dog over here. She thinks she's number one. Wow, right? Okay, so here we go. Later on in the conversation, around 10:05 p.m., Kayla, just so you know, MJG was taking more than one bite at a time when Savanna confronted her. She continued to argue with her, so I used the belt. Melissa says, that's fine. Oh, you like domestic violence, Melissa? Oh, wow, look at that. You see? She's like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, use the belt. She said, I don't think she expected it, lol. Kayla said, but she argued with her multiple times. Melissa, that's fine. She deserved it. Later on in the conversation, Kayla asked, what did Dad tell MJG? MJG's the victim. Kayla, I'm sorry, I know you already have so much on your mind. Melissa, no, you're fine. He told her she did wrong and deserved to have the food taken away. And she better behave because she's been nothing but an redacted today. Don't know what that is. What's that word? And you guys are the boss. Don't type it in the chat, okay? Don't guess. And you guys are the boss, period. End of discussion. Melissa says he's pissed at her, not anyone else. Kayla, okay, good. I just knew that yelling at her or using my hand wasn't going to be enough for her. Melissa, no, and that's fine. You did the right thing because she's an ass and just uses redacted to her advantage, but we don't play those games with her at all. Kayla says, no, definitely not, especially with everything else going on. Melissa says, exactly, and she plays on that, and it pisses me off so bad because it's not okay that she pulls that shit. Kayla said, I told her to lay right, and now she's crying. What should I do? Melissa says, yeah, I'm going to log on and yell at her. So I want you to spank her ass again. Should I take her bed away? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. When they say log on, they're talking about logging on to the camera system and shouting at this little girl on a speaker in her locked room, where she has to sleep on a bed on the floor. Sergeant Wall observed a group chat between NM, Sam, Savanna, Melissa, and Kayla. Oh, we've reached the group chat stage. Okay, it appears this chat was through Facebook Messenger. On 1/9/2023, 6:58 a.m., the following exchange takes place. Kayla, Sassy has peed on MJG twice now, LMAO. They're laughing at letting the dog into this locked room, it sounds like, and letting the dog pee on her. They think that's funny? As if she's not going through enough already. Sam, that's the dad. Walter says, LMAO, which means laughing my ass off. And Melissa says, LMAO, oops. Oh, you guys all think that's funny. Wow, okay. Someone gonna pee on you in jail. Melissa's phone. This is Step Monster. Investigator Wolfel reviewed the contents of Melissa's phone and observed messages and images, including but not limited to the below described messages, images. Now, careful guys, trigger warning, because they're going to describe images on her phone. It says pertinent to the care, treatment, neglect, and abuse of the victim, MJG. Images. We're on page 23. You guys want me to keep going? All right. The image shows a screen with the view of the camera in MJG's room. The victim is seen lying directly on the floor on her back with her knees bent upwards and her back arched. Her arms are straight on her side with her hands on her thighs, and it appears as if her hands are squeezing her thighs. She's wearing only a pink and purple pair of underwear and orange socks. 2 mattresses are seen leaning up against the walls behind her. Timestamp on the camera reads 2024-12-04. They also let her freeze, right? The image is of Sam, who's Walter the dad, holding a dog. In the background of the photo, the iPad showing MJG's room is seen. A person can be seen lying on the bare floor on their side. The image is a photo of what appears to be an iPad due to a circle button being seen. Only the victim's shoulders and head is seen lying on the floor of her bedroom. She's on her side, facing the camera. A mattress can be seen leaned up against the wall behind her. The upper right-hand corner of the screen reads live. Where are they live streaming this to? What's going on live here? The image is a photo of the screen of a cell phone, which appears to show the view from the camera in MJG's room. MJG, the victim, is seen lying on the floor in only a pair of pink underwear and orange socks, with her whole body visible besides her head. MJG is lying on her side, with one arm straight out from her body and the other arm laying straight out from her body. 2 mattresses are seen leaning against the wall behind her. And there again, they put the timestamp. The next image is a photo of a screen of a cell phone, which appears to show the view from the camera in her room. The victim is seen lying on the floor with only a pair of pink underwear with her whole body visible besides her feet. MJG is lying on her back with it arched, with one arm straight out from her body, the other laying across her chest. A mattress is seen leaning against the wall. They might have said, oh, we'll put the mattress in the room, but you can't sleep on it. Even more punishment, right? The timestamp is illegible, they say. So the timestamps just matter, obviously, for the case and for the trial. The images of Sam and Melissa's room. Mother and father. Step monster, right? And the dad. The TV is seen on, and next to the TV is the iPad plugged in, and a human figure can be seen on the screen laying on the floor. The image is of Sam, who is Walter, and Melissa's room. Melissa's leg and a dog are seen in the photo. In the background of the photo, the TV is seen on, and next to the TV is the iPad plugged in, and a human figure can be seen on the screen laying on the floor. The next image is a photo of the screen of a cell phone, which appears to show the view from the camera in the victim's room. The victim is seen lying on a large, flat, blue-colored item, wearing only a diaper, socks, and the blue unicorn pajama top. MJG, the victim, appears not well and severely malnourished, as the bones in her legs and hips are prominent. A mattress can be seen lying against a wall, and a box TV in the corner of a room. There they say the timestamp again. The image is a photo of the screen of a cell phone, which appears to show the view from the camera in her room. The victim's lying in fetal position on her side. MJG is wearing pink underwear and yellow socks, which both have brown-colored marking on them. MJG appears not well and severely malnourished, as her bones are prominent and the top of her spine is clearly visible. Here's another close-up of her body from her neck to her hips. She's seen wearing the blue unicorn pajamas and is holding them above her stomach, utilizing her chin, which is pressed to her chest. She's also wearing a diaper. The image is a photo of a screen which appears to show the view from the camera in her room. She's on a flat surface, which appears raised from the floor. She's lying on her side with her arms over her stomach area. She's wearing a red short-sleeved shirt, a diaper, and socks. A 14-year-old girl, hey? Wow. The image is of Sam, the dad, and Melissa's room. A small dog wearing a green harness is seen, and Sam is in the background sitting in a chair, while the iPad showing MJG's room next to him, a human figure seen on the screen. Now here come more chats, okay? You ready to read some more chats here? 6/24/2020 at 11:41 a.m. Melissa sends a message to Joanne saying, that's the grandmother. Joanne is the victim's maternal grandmother, where she lived before she arrived here. Thought I'd share MJG's report card with you and show how great she did. So that was when? 2020, hey? Yeah. Melissa also sends an attachment which shows an empty file now. Joanne responds, I like it. Tell Shell I'm very proud of her. There's a conversation which begins on 3/4/2025 between Melissa and Savanna, in which they talk about MJG a lot due to Melissa and Sam leaving the residence and Savanna and Kayla being left to care for MJG. He was 14. She's 14 now. And NM, 15, right? Melissa sent a message to Savanna on 3/4/2025, and it read, but MJG is not to be out of her room at all, and I'll call when we're on our way to let you know her rules, and redacted so she doesn't hear them. On 3/4/2025, Melissa sends a message to Savanna saying, he said he's going to stay home, but please, Savanna, make sure he eats and takes his meds at 10:30 every night, referencing NM. On 3/4/2025, the following conversation occurs between Melissa and Savanna. Melissa, do you want Dummy's iPad? Savanna, I'll just use mine because I can mod Ashley's stream from my phone now. Oh dear. Oh dear. Who are they modding for? Don't worry, they are not mods over here. Oh my word, I'll just use mine. I can mod Ashley's stream from my phone now. Okay. Let me download the app though. What's it called? Do we have a tarp so Dad can cover the top of the kennel so they can stay out? Lol. Savanna sends a photo of a screen which shows the app for Victor Home. Okay. Is it though? This. Melissa, yes. On 3/4/2025. Conversation between Melissa and Savanna. That means mother and daughter. Savanna, OMG, I'm sobbing. She just sat up. Looking at her is scary. Now that's interesting. Takes a turn. They're like, oh crap, the victim looks so hectic, right? So they say, looking at her is scary. Melissa says, who did? Savanna says, MJG. Savanna, I'm having a panic attack over it for real. She's fine now. She laid back down. Melissa says, OMFG, knock it off, dude. I can't right now, Savanna. I'm dealing with my own shit with the car and my legs. Why'd she sit up? Savanna, I don't know, but she laid back down. Melissa, okay. Did she lay down the right way? Savannah, sorry, I didn't mean to freak. It just scared me to see her. But to be honest, I think she's always looked like this. Yeah, she did. Melissa, yeah, she has for a while now because she don't sleep. Savanna, she's just so skinny. I'm scared she's going to die for real. But I know it's because she doesn't sleep. Like they convince themselves that this is all okay. It's because it's her fault because she doesn't sleep. That's why she looks like that. Wow. Melissa, when you guys want to feed her, make her get up and take her to the bathroom as long as she's acting okay. They continue to talk about the dogs. And then at 4:19 p.m. the following exchange takes place between mother and daughter. I wish she didn't look so awful so she could just go to the doctor and get a feeding tube with that high calorie stuff that NM had. Oh. Melissa, yeah, I know. Maybe she'll behave and you guys can get her on a schedule like we had her on, but she always redacted up after a while. Savanna, yeah, I know, I hate that. It's just scary. She looks like hell. OMG, Dad said no, they didn't. Savanna, I don't know how you guys can look at her. Okay, just making sure. Melissa says, yeah, she does. And I don't, honestly. Give them a cup and a half each. So she just says she doesn't look at her. The stepmother in the house? I just don't look at her, honestly. Savanna says, it genuinely scares me how skinny she is. At 4:48 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savanna, do you guys let her sit up? Melissa, it's your call. Whatever you guys want to do. But let her know that NM is sleeping and she needs to shut her mouth and no talking from her room. 5:42 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savanna, she's redacted, I don't know if that's effing, pissing me off. Melissa, why? 'Cause damn, we're not even redacted gone yet. Savanna, nothing, never mind, sorry. No, what's the issue? Savanna, she just keeps talking from her room and having an attitude, telling us how she's freezing. She's freezing. She's so skinny. She literally had hypothermia. And these people are like, oh, she's got such an attitude. She's telling us she's freezing from in there. Savanna, she was laying nice, so I let her sit up. But then she was, I guess, effing around. So we made her lay back down. Then Savanna said, God, I hate her. Melissa, why? Savanna, she makes me so mad. Melissa says, why? Savanna, she's just stupid. Pulling the same shit she always does. Crying that her stomach hurts and her legs hurt. Okay. Melissa says, ask her if she wants me, Ask her if she wants me to all again. Savanna, she stopped now. I just lost my ish on her. If I need you, I'll message again. 11:35. Melissa, what did she eat? Savanna, she hasn't yet because she's been talking from her room and effing around. So I'm waiting. Was going to feed her around 12:01 if she keeps her, I guess, her shit straight. Melissa, okay. Just so you know, when you go into Dummy's room, the dogs think they need to go out. 12:08. This is 3/5/2025, okay? Savanna, she's eating now. We're just giving her pizza and water. Is that fine? Savanna says, no shake. So they're not giving her a shake on that day. Melissa says, yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll give her a shake tomorrow. She was just pissing me off. Melissa, I'd like her to have a water and liquid IV early in the day, if she can, then a shake with dinner. Dad never gives her water, and I think that she gets dehydrated a lot. You think? On 3/5/2025 at 7:41 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savanna, freaking out because Kayla just yelled, shut up, MJG, with the door open, lol. Not yelled, but said. Melissa says, OMG. Savanna said, but it's nasty out, so I don't think anyone was outside. Oh, you are aware that you don't want others out there to hear what you guys are doing to this child in the house, huh? Savanna says, ugh, anxiety though. Melissa says, don't worry about it. Savanna says, okay, I'm sorry. Savanna, she's pulling, redacted, which is, the court redacted these swear words, okay? She's pulling, I'm just going to insert words there. She's pulling shit because Kayla took her food because she was sneaking food with the bites that Kayla was telling her to take. Melissa, yeah, she told me. That's why we make her keep her hands on her knees at all times and the plate away from her. Savanna, she's been keeping her hands on her knees. Now she's just screaming and crying and begging for more chances. I hate her. I don't know how you guys do this. Melissa, so was that all she ate today? I don't want to ask her or anything. Savanna, well, we didn't get up until 1:30, but yeah, she had a liquid IV and then we were just giving her food now. If she stops effing around, we'll give her a shake and food later. Melissa says, okay, well, maybe see how she does. I just don't like her to not eat, you know. Maybe have her sit in front of Kayla so she can watch her. I know that's not the greatest thing, but I don't know if that, maybe that'll help. 3/5/2025 at 8:09 p.m. Savanna. Again, this is between mother and daughter. I don't mean to freak out. My anxiety just gets so bad when you guys are gone. But also, I'm just scared because of how horrible she looks. I'm scared we're all going to go to jail or something. I don't know. I had a bad dream last night. Oh, she had a premonition is what that's called. Savanna, I know it's just a dream, but it scared me. I woke up sobbing and everyone was asleep. Melissa says, yeah, I know. I live it every day. That's why I'm trying to get her fed and redacted. But she's an ass constantly. Savanna, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make yours bad or anything. It just scares me. She looks horrible. I know we have Angie and stuff, but she looks so bad. Melissa says, yeah, I know she does, but she don't sleep either, and that's the biggest issue. They still think the biggest issue is that the child doesn't sleep. Welcome, Evil Queen, to membership. Okay, so it says, yeah, I know, Savanna says, I know, I just wish we could get her healthy enough, looking. Just looking healthy enough, not actually healthy, just I wish we could get her healthy enough looking to take her to the damn doctor to fix it. I'm sorry. Melissa said, it's okay. Just let her eat now and feed her something again later with a shake. Savannah says, Kayla said she had almost all the food she gave now, but a few bites. Savannah says, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your guys' time. Melissa says, okay, then she's fine till later. It's fine. Savannah, okay, but we'll give her something later. Heat just kicked on, so it should keep the cold in the house. Oh, it should help the cold in the house, okay? You don't need to call, but do we give her something way later? She's been talking and saying the same shit over and over from her room since we hung up, that she just has to prove that she's going to behave before she gets anything, and that she'll be on her best behavior if we give her something. Shame, that just breaks my heart. The victim is saying, please, please, like I'll be on my best behavior, promise. And Savannah says, but I know that she's going to redacted us like she does to you guys, so I don't know, but I don't want to not, because I want her to gain like you guys do too. Melissa says, just tell her that you talked to me and I'm pissed, and if she continues to talk and redacted, she'll get absolutely nothing. Savannah says, okay, I'm sorry. She's to shut up and do it now. You're fine. Savannah says, okay. Kayla just told her and she won't stop begging for something later. I'm going to deal with her. It's like talking to a effing wall. At 11:34 p.m. Melissa, did she calm down? Yeah, finally. And, okay, thank you. Just kidding. Kayla just gave me the iPad to take a nap. And now she's pulling again, but I just screamed at her, so we see what happens. Melissa says, what's she doing? Savanna, just bitching about her legs and that she's been shaking. OMG, well, if you need me to call, let me know. I will. I'm sorry. I'm trying to leave you guys alone. Melissa says, OMFG, I'm sobbing. Savanna says, why? She says, I'm sobbing. Vonnie K and Chantel are battling a special guy, and they're letting him win. Battling a special guy, and they're letting him win. He's getting huge gifts, and he's crying and jumping up and down crying. Yeah, okay, read the room. They continue to talk about the game, and then they had the following exchange. Melissa, she calmed down? Savanna, yeah. If you want for her to be quiet, you can have her lay with her legs up and put her shirt on so she stops her shit. Savanna says, okay, I will before bed. She's being quiet now. Melissa says, what's going on? Savannah, nothing. NM's playing a game. Kayla's taking a nap, and I'm just sitting here. We're going to get ready for bed soon. NM's finishing a game, and we're giving Stupid a shake. On 3/6/2025 at 2:42 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savannah, Kayla's got MJG. I was up until 5 with her, and then she was pulling, redacted at 9 again already again, so I'm just laying down for a little bit. Call if you need me. Text my phone's on loud, otherwise they're both awake too. Melissa, what was she doing? Savannah, just being making noise, rolling around on the floor, picking, sticking her hands in her effing underwear, making the camera move. Melissa, okay, so tell her when we get home she's getting her ass beat. Savannah, Kayla brought her in here this morning so she could deal with her because she yelled, I have to pee, and I have to pee now, so I told her, I know, Dad takes you when you've been laying right now when you ask and not when you nag. And she got in my face and screamed at me. She needed to pee? Hello? Savannah says, we took away her liquid IV because she sat up and was dancing all over and crying and whining. And we gave her a effing shake last night because I felt bad. And of course she was laying nice and quiet to get what she wanted. Sorry, I don't want you to have to deal with it. We're fine here now. But I just want to tell you, Kayla has her, and I'm going to lay down for a little bit. Melissa says, yes, she's manipulative. That's how she works. She says, okay. Savannah says, I hate her. Melissa says, I get it. Then Savannah says, then had the balls to say, now. Or so to say, now what did I do? And roll her eyes. Melissa says, she's an, I don't know what word they're saying there. I don't know. Melissa says, when? Yeah, she's an ass. The poor child just wanted to go to the bathroom. Okay, we're getting there. Crystal, welcome to membership. Oil Artist Cat says, I missed. How did the police find the situation? The dad called because the little girl was 35 pounds, and by the movements he was describing she was making, she was on death's doorstep. I think they were really worried she was actually going to die, and she very much could have in the next day or two or so, or soon. So they called 911 at the last minute, you know? So that's how the police got involved. Okay, so 3/6/25, we're on page 29, okay, out of 41, and the last page is actually, there's nothing on it really, so out of 40. Okay, we're almost there. That's me being optimistic, hey. Okay, Savannah, I'm beating her ass, just so you know. Sorry, I don't mean to keep telling you guys what's going on here, but I just want you to know what's happening. Melissa said, okay, what does she do now? Savannah, she screamed from her room, is someone gonna let me pee? She just went at 2:30 and she screamed it. So I smacked her hands hard with a brush. She went back to her room screaming, is now laying on her floor, picking. Okay, have Kayla bring her back out and call me. Savannah said, no, it's okay, I'm sorry, I feel bad. I dealt with her. Melissa, no, I want to talk to her. Savannah says, okay, hold on. I'm really sorry. Melissa says, you're fine. Savannah, no. Melissa, I'm pissed at her because it doesn't matter what you say. She just does what she wants, and it's frustrating because she knows what she has to do to get redacted, but she continues the, don't know, what is that bullshit? What's that word? Looks like they're about to write bullcuck there. I don't know. Savannah, I know. I hate her. Melissa, same. And I'm sorry. Savannah, why are you sorry, lol? She told me last night, I know it's almost your birthday. I'm going to be so good, I promise. And I said, MJG, no offense, but your words don't mean but to me, but also to anyone here. That is so disgusting. This poor little girl was like, please, I know it's almost your birthday. I'm going to be so good. And they're like, shh, your words mean nothing to us. Savanna said, and she said, I don't understand why nobody believes me. And I just laughed. She rolled her eyes. Melissa, yeah, she's Anne, redacted. She just doesn't get it. She also told me she was going to be on her best behavior for our anniversary, but look how that went. On 3/6/2025, at 11:04 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savanna, she's giving dummy a shake now. We just ate. Melissa, okay. Has she had water today? Savanna says, and Dad's spot on the couch is open for you tomorrow. Yes. Melissa, did she eat? Okay, thank you. Savanna, should we get up early so the babies can go outside and the kennels can go back where they belong in your room so they aren't in your way? Savannah, she had the liquid IV and is having the shake now. And if she does well, we were going to give her real food. Melissa, yeah, that would probably be good. Savannah, but I told Kayla wait because she was laying and redacted and probably effing around again and yelling from her room that her head hurts. On 3/7/2025 at 12:24 p.m., Savanna sends an image to Melissa, which is a photo of the victim lying on the floor of her room in the fetal position on her side. The victim's wearing pink underwear and yellow socks, which both have brown-colored marking on them. The victim appears not well and severely malnourished, as her bones are prominent and on the top of her spine, it's clearly visible, right? Savanna says, knows you're home and still effing around. Melissa, did she move? Savanna, nope. And she's been in, don't know what, all night. Redacted, I yelled at her all night. Melissa, let me know if she changes. Savannah, it says DoorDash will deliver my gift after 1, so I'll keep an eye on it. I think they'll just leave it on the porch. She didn't just, she rolled and moaned and is acting like she's too weak to sit up. Acting. They say she's acting like she's too weak to sit up. 35 pounds, 14 years old. And saying, ow. Can Kayla run to Crumble? Oh my word, they're going to get Crumble cookies? Oh my goodness. Can Kayla run to Crumble? And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, these ones are like, ooh, you know what we can order? Okay. And they have all these groceries delivered. They have all the treats they want. You know, and they're starving this little girl. Allegedly. She said, I also think I'm going to do my shot tomorrow. I don't know if you want me to yell at her or not, but she's got her hands in her underwear. Savannah, she's done it the whole time you guys were gone too. I'm sorry, I don't mean to start right when you're here. Savannah sends a photo of NM sleeping with a dog next to him. NM is sleeping on a mattress with a Lilo and Stitch pillow and a patterned blanket. At 3/12/2025, the following exchange takes place. Melissa, Dad asked if Kayla could take Dummy to the bathroom, please. Savannah, yeah, sorry my phone died. It's fine. She'll take her in a second. Whisper to her to see if she's shaking or not. Like, don't let her hear you though, please. Savannah says, yeah, she is. Melissa, okay. Savannah, why? Melissa, because she keeps saying she is, but I think a lot of it's fake. And Savannah says, oh, I do too. And she's freezing in her room, and they think she's faking the shaking. 3/20/2025 at 7:16 p.m. The following exchange takes place. Melissa, yell and tell her to lay right again, please. 4/27/2025. Melissa, what a effing idiot, man. Lol. Savannah says, who? Melissa says, MJG. The victim. Savannah, should I have her shut our window because he's yelling? Savannah says, what happened? Melissa, why is it even open? Jesus Christ, she says, I hate this effing house. Because of the risk, you know, clearly of the other people hearing them. On 5/15/2025 at 1:55 p.m., the following exchange took place. Melissa, so we got Joanne's package, so Dad messaged her to come get it, and she came and told Dad AF's dying because she's got pancreatic cancer. AF is the victim's biological mother. Savannah says, I don't believe it. Did she ask to see or anything with MJG or just said that? Melissa, she's got 1 to 2 years to live. He didn't say, he just told me that. Savannah says, wow. So let MJG go back for the next 1 to 2 LMAO. Sorry, that's mean, but she's going to die anyway. Dad doesn't have to. Wow. Oil Artist Cat says the only stupid here are the adults. I know, right? Thank you for your sticker. The conversation continued. Melissa says, I think it's just for sympathy. So he'll let them see her. Savannah, well, they aren't, so they can F right off. Melissa says, he told her that she's on a trip with his cousin. Savannah says, WTF? And she said, oh, I hope she has fun. Savannah says, yeah, I don't trust that then. I feel like if she was really dying, she'd know that. Savanna says, so I think you're right. And she's using AF as an excuse, hoping she can see MJG. Melissa says, no, he told her that MJG was with his cousin on a trip. Yeah, me too. Savanna says, oh, lol. Melissa says, make me a sandwich, lol. Savanna, have the boy bring the stuff. Savanna, it's her birthday. I didn't know why. Wait, it says, it's her birthday. I didn't know. Why do I feel bad? Melissa says, because we're caring people. They're feeling bad, it's her birthday? And why do they feel bad? Oh, Melissa says, because we're caring people. What did they say? Savanna says, she just came out to go to the bathroom and said, well, I'm officially 14. And then was in the bathroom a little bit and said, Savanna, guess what? And Dad said, we know you're 14. We don't care. LMAO. That's how they treat her on her birthday. Wow. Well, on every day. I'm just saying, even though she's like, well, okay, I'm 14. And they're like, we don't care. Melissa says, LMAO, which means laughing my ass off. Melissa, do you want a sandwich? Melissa, we haven't slept yet because MJG has been awful and was screaming for 4.5 hours and even woke NM up. Worried if we lay down to sleep that she's going to redact it in her room because that's what she's claiming. But it was before Dad took her to the bathroom and then she didn't go because she's mad because he won't take her now. Savanna says, she's so effing stupid. I can watch her. Kayla has a virtual appointment with Mitch at 1, but let me just pee quick. Oh, so these people are up and down. They're going number 1, number 2, up and down to the bathroom, but the victim, the survivor in this case, is like, you just stay locked in there. We don't care if you need to go. At 5:44 p.m., the following exchange takes place. So firstly, on June 7th of 2025, Melissa is with Sam, who's Walter, at the hospital, seemingly being prepared for a transplant, as is mentioned regarding a donor surgery. Savanna says, what do I do for MJG for dinner? And when? I don't know when NM will wake up. Melissa says, well, I'd just wait till later. She ate around 3 this morning. Savannah, okay, she's complaining and whining about going to the bathroom, but I told her she has to wait till NM can open the door. 5:48 p.m. Melissa tells Savannah she's going to have to wait and that's it. And if she doesn't, to stop her, I guess, shit, she will not eat. On June 11th of 2025 at 3:44 p.m., Melissa tells Savannah that she's going to let MJG go poop, and they continue to talk about what they're hearing. At 3:55 p.m., the following exchange takes place. Savannah, she's so stupid. Melissa, why? Savannah, she got up too fast and fell, and then was crying that she fell. Melissa says, tell her to crawl to her room. Savannah, she got up and walked. Okay. Was she shaking? Savannah, I don't know. I don't think so. Why? Savannah's ask NM. Melissa, what are you doing? I'm so anxious. 8/20/2025 at 2:57 a.m. Melissa messages Savannah saying, this effing kid, dude. Savannah, it wasn't there last time I went to the bathroom. The only thing that changed between now and then was him taking MJG. 2:58 a.m. Melissa says, she's just acting weird and saying she's going to pass out and shit. Savannah, of course she is. Melissa says at 3:07 a.m., she's got me so sick feeling. Melissa says, nope. He told me that he couldn't deal with her, and I said I'm sorry, but neither can I, and it's your issue. Melissa, I said I'm gonna redacted myself and puke because of her. Savannah, he doesn't care. Melissa, no, I keep telling him. How do you know she's faking? Because she is. And I said, okay, I don't know if she is or not. And Melissa said, and he got mad at me. Savannah, he just doesn't care. He just told her that she was making you sick. On 8/20/2025 at 1:35 p.m., Melissa says to Savannah, because I'm exhausted and still anxious with MJG and just can't do it tonight. Savannah, I'm sorry. If he's going to be mean to you, I can watch stupid. So you can sleep and he can go. Melissa, no, because she's acting better, but still goofy. 8/21/2025 at 11:54 a.m. Melissa sends a message to Savannah saying, we're trying to go to bed. We only got up because she was throwing up in there. And at 11:54 a.m. she said, Sam said it's because she ate too fast. Savannah, I don't know, he scares me with her because he always says she's dying. Oh. Okay. And no one was calling the doctors or anything. 8/21/2025 at 4:45 p.m. Savanna says, "What's going on?" Melissa, "I don't know. She's being weird." "Oh, like how? Is she okay?" "I don't know. I can't see what's going on in there." "Oh, sorry. Sorry, him telling her that she was dying the other day just really made me anxious." Melissa says, "Yeah, I know, Savanna." At 4:51 p.m. Savanna says, Did she get up? Melissa, "No." "What the F is happening?" "I don't know, Savanna." Savanna says, "Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not trying to make your anxiety worse." Melissa says, "Too late." Savanna, "I'm sorry. Does he need help?" Savanna and Melissa discuss Kayla letting the dogs out. At 4:59 p.m., Savanna says, "Are you guys okay?" Melissa, "I don't know. I'm freaking out." Savanna, "Is she like actually having seizures?" Melissa, "I don't know what she's doing or having. Is she awake and moving and just weak?" Melissa says, "I'm not sure." Savanna, "Sorry, I'm just trying to understand so I could try to help." Savanna, "Do you want me to see if Kayla can get her up?" And there the messages end. And now we're at the part of the medical records. Again, trigger warning, they will now be describing the state that this poor child was in. 14-year-old girl, right? 35 pounds. What they found at the hospital. MJG's medical records, this is public record as part of a probable cause affidavit in a criminal case where 4 people have been arrested and charged with all this child abuse and neglect and all of that, right? Okay. MJG's medical records from the Children's Wisconsin Hospital. Dr. Sandeep Narang, MD, indicate in part for the purpose of the criminal complaint. MJG's last name has been replaced with her initials. The victim initially presented to St. Vincent ED in Green Bay, Wisconsin via EMS on the 21st of August of 2025. That's when her dad called 911 at last because they were like, "Oh crap, she's actually having seizures now." And they're all worried that she's going to die. So they're like, "Oops, let's quickly call 911 now." Katina said they are infuriating. How long did this poor child endure this cruelty? Thank God she was saved. 5 years, apparently. This dad got her in 2020. So up to August 2025. Yeah. Thank you for your sticker. Okay, so here's what they found. She was transferred to CW for further care and subsequently admitted to the W4 PICU. She was diagnosed with severe malnutrition, had signs of multi-organ dysfunction, including acute respiratory failure, cardiac dysfunction, severe acute hepatitis, pancreatitis, coagulopathy, hypothermia, hypoglycemia, and electrolyte derangements. She remained in that's the pediatric ICU, right? PICU, until 9/1/2025 when she was able to be transferred to W11. At 8:45 on the 22nd of August of 2025, MJG had a drop in her blood pressure and heart rate, indicative of shock. She required significant resuscitation, including fluids and multiple rounds of epinephrine as well as norepinephrine drip. Hope I said that okay, huh? Lots of nurses, doctors in the house, let me know. Yeah, pediatric intensive care unit. I guessed right, huh? Kerry, I guessed it right. Okay. I thought so. PICU, yeah. We've heard that before, unfortunately, from all these cases as well. Oh my goodness. And they are. If you are a registered nurse, if you're in the medical field, if you're a doctor, whatever, let us know in chat. There's always so many in our community, which is always so great to see. Okay, so shame. So she really was, they really thought like, oh my goodness, if they did not call 911, yeah, she would have died. Now, initially evaluated by GI on 8/22/2025 and found to have acute severe hepatitis, most likely secondary to ischemic injury. On 8/23/2025, lipase elevation was suggestive of pancreatitis, most likely due to severe malnutrition and ischemia. Both the hepatitis and pancreatitis have improved over the course of admission. Daily x-rays were initiated to monitor bowel obstruction, initially identified on abdominal CT. She was managed with bowel rest and decompression and ultimately likely had a severe ileus from malnutrition as opposed to SBO. Close monitoring was initiated on admission for refeeding syndrome. Magnesium and phosphorus were low on admission and required multiple replacements. MJG developed acute refeeding syndrome on the 23rd of August of 2025. She required numerous electrolyte replacements throughout the course of admission. As of 9/15/2025, MJG was requiring IV electrolyte repletion about every 3 days. She was initially evaluated by clinical nutrition on the 22nd of August of 2025. On subcutaneous fat exam, MJG was found to have little to no fat stores, with visible ribs and spine and protruding hip bones. Micronutrient exam showed thin hair, which was sparse and patchy, pallor and dry flaky skin, and multiple sores on bony prominences. She was diagnosed with acute non-illness related to severe malnutrition. Non-illness-related severe malnutrition. TPN was initiated on 8/22/2025. NG feeds were initiated on 8/28/2025 and was slowly advanced. TPN was discontinued and oral feedings were initiated upon extubation on 9/1/2025. MJG expressed eagerness to continue to advance PO feedings and expressed enjoyment of food. Shame! MJG continues to eat an age-appropriate diet of 3 meals a day, plus snacks and supplementation with Pediasure as needed. As of 9/17/2025, MJG was noted to be eating age-appropriate diet and fluid intake. Her physical findings were improved since admission, and this resolution was consistent with severe malnutrition and not some organic medical cause. APNP NITS discussed MJG's case with clinical nutrition via phone on 9/4/2025 to discuss chronicity of malnutrition. The nutrition team stated that a lack of any height gain since last known data point would indicate significant malnutrition over an extended period of time, likely years. Remember at the beginning when the dad was like, oh, maybe like 5-6 days, she's been like this. Severe pressure wounds and skin break. Severe pressure wounds and skin breakdown and lanugo were noted on admission. See photographs in physical exam section below. There's no photos in this document. Wound care consulted and wound cares given. Wounds were noted to continue to heal throughout admission and did not recur. MJG was not noted to pick at her skin lesions during this extended hospitalization. Endocrinology was consulted on 9/9/2025 to assist with vitamin D deficiency and bone health, even though they're like, she does go out. See, she plays with the puppies. She hadn't been out in a long time. Okay. Kerry said TPN is nutrition through an IV. NG is nose tube feed. Oh, thank you. And I see all the nurses, registered nurses in chat as well. So I'm sure this report is of interest to you, right? I'm just glad to hear she's doing so much better. So they said endocrinology was consulted on 9/9/2025 to assist with a vitamin D deficiency and bone health. Per their documentation, now they've got all the levels of vitamin D, which you could see there. 25-OH vitamin D level on 8/28 was undetectably low. So she was started on vitamin D3 and all of that. On the evaluation, MJG reported no history of back, rib, or pelvis pain. Her presentation was consistent with osteoporosis. And given history of severe malnutrition, this is believed to be due to nutritional deficiencies. Ophthalmology was consulted on 9/17/2025 due to complaints of blurry vision, trouble seeing at a distance, and longer time needed transitioning from light to dark. Dilated exam and vision screening was performed. Temporal pallor was seen at the optic nerve head bilaterally. Exam findings were concerning for metabolic optic nerve neuropathy secondary to vitamin deficiency. Point is, they found a lot, and these four people were like, she's faking it. Wow. Neuropsychological evaluation was performed on 9/10/2025. Many of MJG's cognitive abilities, working memory, attention, retrieval-based memory, language, and visual spatial skills were broadly age-appropriate, low average to average. MJG's processing speed was more variable, with some performances below age expectations, particularly for timed tasks that involved fine motor skills like i.e. drawing. Per documentation, based on evaluation findings, MJG is currently functioning broadly at her pre-injury level, i.e. her cognitive baseline, although with somewhat more difficulty with processing speed, likely secondary to her recent medical complications in the context of Saver's malnutrition. MJG has been seeing psychology regularly. That's how they worded it, while inpatient. Discussion occurred with psychology on 9/9/2025. Per psychologist, while she's not specifically assessing MJG for an eating disorder, she does not have concerns at this time that MJG suffers from disordered eating. She states that she is excited and eager to eat. Per documentation from several nursing notes and medical progress, MJG is able to sleep comfortably and is often noted to be sleeping during hospital medicine assessments. Debunking all the crap that people said about she just doesn't want to sleep, you know? MJG has stated that she picks at her skin. So the victim said herself, she told them she just picks at her skin at home as a habit and due to boredom. However, per search of notes, this is not a behavior that has been documented while hospitalized. Physical and occupational therapy. Initial OT evaluation occurred on 8/26/2025. MJG was found to have decreased ADL independence, decreased UE strength, and decreased activity tolerance. MJG's IADL participation was limited by medical status limitations, decreased activity tolerance, fatigue, and weakness. Initial PT evaluation occurred on 8/27/2025. MJG was found to have decreased lower extremity strength, decreased tolerance for upright mobility, impaired transfers, and impaired gait. She received PT/OT 5 days a week. On 8/28/2025, PT noted that MJG required moderate assistance at her pelvis or trunk when standing. She was also noted to have bilateral knee flexion contractures and potentially bilateral hip flexion contractures based on posture in standing. On 9/2/25, MJG was asked by OT how often she would normally shower, and she replied, whenever they would let me. When clarifying if PT knew if that was every other day or weekly, she stated, maybe weekly or monthly, I don't really know. PT reports that she was able to normally stand for an entire shower and wash her body independently in a walk-in shower. She also reports she could walk to and from the bathroom from her room, but would use door handles on the wall for support when walking. On this date, contractures were also noted to MJG's bilateral shoulders, and MJG reported, I don't know how long it's been that I can't move my arms all the way up. MJG required assistance to press sink buttons to turn water on due to decreased UE strength to press the button to activate the sink. When asked by OT if she would like deodorant, she reported she did not know what that was. MJG walked with PT on 9/2/2025, who noted a crouched gait due to contractures and distance limited by fatigue. She required a seated reset break of 2 minutes between walks each 20 feet. On 9/3/2025, OT assisted MJG in the shower and required assistance with washing her hair because of her bilateral shoulder contractures and inability to move her arms all the way up. Nursing. On 8/25/2025, MJG was intermittently awake and uncomfortable. When awake, she was able to write on paper with a marker and stated per nursing documentation, I'm hungry, I need a snack, can I watch TV, I need to poop, I can't breathe. And on 8/26/2025, she wrote on her whiteboard 3 different times asking when she could eat and wrote, I like Pedi, which is that Pediasure that she was used to, right? On 8/27/2025, father left the room to pick up takeout food, and upon return, he made jokes or comments about being able to eat as much as MJG wrote on her whiteboard. Can I eat and I'm hungry? Cracking those dad jokes, are we? Wow, I'm glad he's nowhere near her now. On 9/1/2025, MJG's RN, registered nurse, documented that it had been approved for her to try to PO chocolate pudding. RN noted that MJG maintained appropriate O2 saturations, did not cough or sputter, and maintained conversation while eating and swallowed well. She then requested a second pudding, which the nurse obtained for her. While eating the second pudding, she expressed, my dad will be so mad. When asked what he would be mad about, the victim replied, he doesn't like when I eat this much. RN went on to explain that once cleared by speech that MJG would have 3 meals per day, and documented MJG's eyes lit up as she started listing off all the options of food she could have over the course of her hospitalization. She inquired about pancakes, M&Ms, and tacos, and also stated she was so looking forward to having vegetables. When RN said again that MJG would get 3 meals per day, She stated, "Oh, my dad is going to be so mad." She went on to say, "He really doesn't like it when I eat that much, and the way that I get with food." Can you imagine? Thank you so much. People are asking, I guess, right? Ellen says, PO is per oral. Thank you so much. Tiff Knox said, she's a survivor with a capital S. She's a Grizzly, right? Yeah, wow, I'm so glad she survived. And I'm so glad that she's doing better now. That's what they reported on the news clip that I showed you as well, that she's doing okay. She's no longer in the hospital, and that her grandparents say she's doing okay. So when asked what she meant about the way she gets with food, MJG stated, "When I eat all of it, he also really doesn't like it if I eat sweets." Again, these people are getting really mad when a teenager, a 14-year-old girl who weighs 35 pounds, eats too much. What? Wow, this is weight trends. On admission, we're almost there, okay? We're almost done. On admission, MJG weighed 16.1 kilograms, 35 pounds. Oh my word, and was in the less than 0.01 percentile. Her BMI was 8.68, also in the less than 0.01 percentile. Her height was estimated knee height at 53.63 inches, also in less than 0.01 percentile. She had some initial weight gains between 822 and 824 of 2025, which is likely representative of fluid. Her weight decreased slightly on the 25th of August of 2025, and since the 26th, she showed steady overall weight gain with minor fluctuations. As of 9/19/2025, MJG weighed 25 kilograms, representing an overall weight gain of 9 kilograms, 9.05 to be exact from the document here. About 19 pounds and 14 ounces. Her standing height on 9/19/25 was 137.2 centimeters, 54 feet, right? And her BMI has improved, to 13.36, and I'm sure it's improved even more since then, right? Immunizations are not up to date per WIR, due for HPV and all these other ones. Impression. Severe child neglect, nutritional, medical, dental, and physical. These types of neglect have the following medical sequelae on MJG. Did I say that right? Sequelae. A. Severe malnutrition with consequent circulatory shock and refeeding syndrome and multi-organ dysfunction on presentation. Acute respiratory failure, now resolved with treatment. Cardiac dysfunction, hepatitis, liver inflammation. Pancreatitis, pancreas inflammation. Hematologic dysfunction, macrocytic anemia, and leukopenia. Slow down. Okay, here we go. Insufficiency, fractures of the vertebrae, T9 to 11, and L, 11th rib, and severe osteopenia or osteoporosis. Dermatologic dysfunction, pressure sores, and thin, dry skin. Ophthalmologic dysfunction, optic nerve neuropathy, secondary to vitamin deficiency. Dental dysfunction, diminished dental enamel and discoloration of dentition. Concern for physical abuse, forehead bruise on presentation, now resolved. Concern for prior sexual abuse based on paternal report, STI testing negative. MJG is a 14-year-old female with a reported past medical history of ADHD and autism who presented to Children's Wisconsin with severe malnourishment and numerous sequelae of malnourishment. Given the overall clinical picture with the information available at this time, her presentation is consistent with a diagnosis of severe child neglect. Physical abuse cannot be safely ruled out at this point. Nutritional neglect and severe malnourishment. Now here they just go over all of her weights and everything as well, right? You can pause to read if you want to there. On physical exam, MJG was extremely emaciated with virtually no subcutaneous fat stores, visible bones, as well as other physical signs of severe malnutrition, including loss of and thinning of hair, lanugo, flaking skin, as well as numerous pressure sores over bony prominences. So yeah, they're just repeating a few things there that we've been through. She developed acute refeeding syndrome, required electrolyte replacement for numerous days during hospitalization. This is a summary of everything that we just read, right? You could see that. She needed all the vitamins, of course. On admission, the father stated she ate 3 meals per day and snacks, would sometimes vomit due to eating too fast and needed to be monitored while eating due to eating too fast, and would sometimes refuse meals due to her autism diagnosis, which I think he just like made up for her. Molly G said, I say we adopted a fellow Grizzly. She's a fellow Grizzly, right? She's an amazing survivor. Shame and what she had to go through, my goodness. Now, additionally, he reported that MJG does not sleep at night, leading to increased calorie consumption and inability to gain weight. He reported that she had subcutaneous fat on her body 6 days prior to admission, before becoming acutely ill, leading to weight loss. As stated above, the above findings are indicative of severe and prolonged malnutrition and not consistent with the history the fathers provided about the frequency with which she ate prior to admission or the rapid onset of weight loss leading to her physical exam findings on admission. The victim denies issues with vomiting prior to admission. Vomiting has also not been observed in the hospital setting outside of the acute period of food reintroduction. MJG was evaluated by speech therapy, who reported no oral motor feeding or swallowing concerns. She has not been observed to refuse meals. She's been excited to eat and appears to enjoy food. Furthermore, neuropsychological evaluation showed that she functions largely within expected parameters for her age. She's been observed to sleep comfortably at night and occasionally requires melatonin for sleep initiation. After being medically stabilized, she began feeding orally and on an age-appropriate diet on 9/1/2025. She's done well with meeting her daily intake needs and has made steady weight gain during admission. Overall, she's gained 8.8 kilograms while hospitalized, evidence which supports her ability to gain weight when given adequate nutritional intake and not consistent with some organic medical disease process in her body. This is further evidenced by her ability to gain weight normally during the first 9 years of her life, in which she demonstrated a relatively normal growth velocity and weight in the 25th percentile for her age. Furthermore, father denies issues with resource needs or food insecurity, and food was available in the home, per investigators. Well, we know it was, right? Overall, MJG's physical exam findings, hospital course, lab and imaging findings, development of numerous sequelae of malnourishment, her ability to gain weight appropriately when being fed definitively outline a diagnosis of nutritional neglect resulting in severe malnutrition and its harmful sequelae. Medical neglect. Okay, so we know that let's say the last known medical care she received was in September of 2020 at the age of 9. Children her age should be seen at least yearly for health maintenance and to monitor for overall growth and development. More pertinently, MJG's father reported that she had an autism diagnosis leading to self-harm behaviors such as skin picking that required her to be monitored in a room and accompanied everywhere in the home. He also reported ongoing issues with food refusal and lack of sleep leading to inability to gain weight. The father reports he was going to switch MJG to his physician, but hadn't yet, despite the fact that he and other household members receive care frequently and with relative ease. The father reported that the day of the admission, MJG walked to the bathroom on her own, and that just 2 weeks prior she was out in the yard with the dogs. MJG herself believes that the last time she played outside was when she was 10 or 12 years old, like had not been outside in 2 to 4 years. She also reports that sometime before being hospitalized, she was no longer able to get to the bathroom on her own, and that she needed to push herself up on furniture and hold onto objects, and she was no longer able to get up and walk. The father's description of her strength and mobility is incongruent with her physical state when she arrived at the hospital, as well as her course in physical and occupational therapy, in which she has to slowly progress in her stamina to walking and continues to need frequent breaks when ambulating or performing other tasks. She has multiple areas of contractures on her body, which are indicative of a prolonged lack of normal movement and mobility. The American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, defines medical neglect as a caregiver's failure to provide or follow through with recommended health care for a child, resulting in or risking harm to the child. MJG's emaciation and overall physical appearance when admitted to the hospital was such that a reasonable caregiver would have known to seek medical attention. MJG's self-reported symptomology of progressive weakness and inability to perform activities of daily living, such as getting to the bathroom, also should have prompted caregivers to have her evaluated. She will require close follow-up once discharged and consistent medical care with multiple subspecialties to ensure her continued healing and monitor her growth and development. She is at high risk for further medical and psychological complications of severe malnutrition. She's also behind on immunizations and will need follow-up with routine dental care. It's recommended that MJG established with a medical home who's able to meet her continued needs. Lastly, we're on the last paragraph. Emotional or psychological neglect, abuse, and educational neglect. It's been reported from multiple sources, including MJG, that she was locked in her room from the outside for extended periods of time. She was reportedly monitored by a camera through which she communicated with other household members. MJG did not have unrestricted access to any other parts of the home, including the bathroom, where she was accompanied by another family member. She described that sometimes she would have to urinate on herself if she woke up in the night and had to use the bathroom, but was not able to get out because she was locked in her room. She's expressed that she has never completed hygiene tasks every day and only when she was allowed. There have been various explanations offered for why MJG had a lock on her door, including for self-harm behaviors of skin picking and her propensity to steal food, which is defined by the family as taking food from the kitchen or house without permission. She's reported picking as a behavior that she engaged in due to boredom and being fidgety. However, it has not been a behavior that has been documented in the hospital. She had to be reminded to not touch her breathing tube or NG tube and was compliant with this request. There have been no other concerns about or documentation of other self-harm behaviors while she's been inpatient. In her forensic interviews, she described the love and fondness for her family members. Oh man, that just makes me so sad, you know. She's so sweet. She, again, just look at that. She described love and fondness for her family members. This is understandable as many abused or neglected children still love their maltreaters. However, particularly telling was that despite her love and fondness for her family members, MJG expressed a strong desire to not be locked in a room or be monitored with a camera. The American Academy of Pediatrics defines emotional or psychological maltreatment as acts of commission, doing something harmful, or omission, failing to do something necessary by a caregiver that impairs a child's mental well-being. Locking a child in a room from the outside poses many safety risks, including risk of injury in the case of a fire, and is not recommended or appropriate intervention for skin-picking behaviors. Additionally, poor hygiene predisposes a child to wound infections in that minor cuts and scrapes can become contaminated with dirt, sweat, and other debris, and predisposes children to other preventable infections, such as those obtained by the fecal, oral, or foodborne routes. She reportedly began virtual school in 2020 as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic and was initially enrolled in eAchieve. However, father reportedly unenrolled MJG and began doing homeschooling. MJG stated in her forensic interview that she does normal 5th grade stuff for school, while according to her age, she should be in 9th grade this fall. It's unclear what, if any, educational curriculum is being provided to MJG at home, raising concern for educational neglect. Educational neglect involves the failure of a parent or caregiver to enroll a child of mandatory school age in school or provide appropriate homeschooling or needed special education training. Educational neglect can lead to the child failing to acquire basic life skills. Educational neglect can pose a serious threat to a child's physical and emotional well-being and normal social and psychological development, particularly when the child has special educational needs that are not met. Concern for physical abuse. On admission, MJG was noted to have a bruise to the forehead, which father presumed was from her banging her head against the wall, as he had seen her do this before. MJG reported that she presumed it was from when she had a seizure at home prior to her hospital admission. She's not been observed to have head-banging behaviors while hospitalized, and the history for the bruise is currently unclear, as well as what MJG's mobility capabilities were prior to hospitalization. While the bruise was over a bony prominence, the lack of clear history in an otherwise vulnerable child raises concern for physical abuse, and further investigation is recommended. And there, we made it to the end. You see that? And again, here's the charges that they are facing. All of them are facing state of Wisconsin, Walter Goodman, 5 counts of chronic neglect of a child, consequence of great bodily harm. And they will all be in court again this upcoming week. I don't know if that will be streamed or not, or what's going to happen there. But yeah, October 19th and 20th. 2 of them on the 19th, 2 on the 20th for their preliminary hearings. And we shall see what happens from there. But yeah, do hope that they pay the price. I hope that they get the maximum, honestly. This sounds horrific, what that poor girl went through. For about 5 years is what the timeline sounds like, right? Main Kun Mama says, well done, G. Oh, thank you so much. That was a long document, huh? We've read some long ones. It's not the longest one we've read before. Do you remember what the longest one is? What is the longest document that I've ever read to you? It was the Barry Morphy PCA. That thing took 6.5 hours, okay? And I was optimistic. I told Mr. Grizzly, I'll be right back. I'll be like, 2-3 hours. 6.5 hours later, you can find it on the Suzanne Morphy playlist. Read that document, okay? Which I'm always so happy to do, right? And that was in one sitting. One could maybe do a part 1, 2, 3, but we just want to read it all. Once I get into a document, I don't know if you are like that. You probably are, because you're all still here. This is a rhetorical question. They were like, 3,700 of you still here. Once I get into a document, beady eyes in the night, Grizzly Cat sending me a document, and I'm like, ooh, and then I start reading it, and I just have to read the whole thing. So I'm so glad. Thank you so much for being here with me so that I could share this with you and tell you the survivor story. I wish her well. I hope that she will be okay. I hope she'll be surrounded by people who love her. I hope that she'll get the education she needs, the medical support, the psychological support. If there's any way that I find out that I know that we can help her, I will let you know. I haven't seen anything like that yet. Still early days in the case, but shame, man. I really hope that she will be okay, right? Kraken said, wasn't that 6.5 hour read before you started doing edits like take a deep breath, start all over? I don't even think so. I think I read the whole thing, even though I knew how to edit. I just read it. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Please leave me a comment, because I look forward to reading those right now, like after the live stream, and then once the live chat replay repopulates, I will look at that as well. Okay, so Queen of Hearts says, Grizzly, did you get the picture of my daughter with Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison? He's my hero. I did. Thank you so much. Thank you for your email. Thank you all for your emails. If you want to email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. If you want to find a link of mine, it is grizzlytruecrime.com. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Now, what we're going to do now is actually teleport to tomorrow's live stream, which we will be watching the Brian Walsh final pretrial hearing, because I would like to cover the trial with you. And that's coming up starting on December 1st is what they anticipate opening statements will be. I really hope there's no more delays. Please, no more delays. And that's why I'm so eager to find out tomorrow. I'll be watching it anyway. Let's watch it together. Okay, so we're going to teleport to there. Click notify me, right? And just be there anyway. Just be there anyway. You'll know what time it is when you see it, right? Bree, thank you so much. All right, everyone, so ready to teleport. I will, if you have the autoplay turned on, you'll be automatically redirected there. If you don't have that turned on, just click the link as I share it in the outro, okay? Thank you so much, everyone. I wish this survivor very well in this case. I wish the 4 idiots very badly in this case, and I will keep you posted. Okay, bye, everyone.